check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? I am your boy, AK Eagles. Welcome to a Friday night episode of the AK Eagles podcast. Coming to you tonight to, just talk about these expectations for the Philadelphia Eagles this season. I honor everyone's opinion. I believe everybody has their own opinion and they're welcome to it. But I'm going to give you my realistic expectations. And I also have a guest with me tonight. He wanted to hop on and talk for a little bit. Everyone, please welcome Jerry Lee. What's going on, buddy? How you doing, sir?
What's going on, everybody? Doing good, brother. Doing good.
Yeah,
hanging in there.
Jumping on, man. By the way, if my mic is really loud, let me know. I know I've been.
It actually sounds good.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Been having a couple issues with the mic lately, so I think I might have fixed it. But if not, let me know. I'll get it worked on. Yo, Randall, what's up, man? Appreciate you, sir. BLSG, welcome, my guy. How you doing, man? What's good, AK? Have a good stream, brother. Appreciate you, sir. Further AM, what is going on? Hey, yo, hope everyone is having a most excellent Friday. Party time. Excellent. Yes, sir. Doing good. Thank God it's Friday. Yo, Mitch Kofsky, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you coming in. Nina, how you doing? Thank you so much for stopping in. Appreciate you and all you do and all the support you show me. So thank you so much. Hope you and your mom's doing good. Can't wait to see some more videos. By the way, shout out to the 8 people in here. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Get my content out there for others to see. We are growing each and every day on the road to 500, but really on the road to 1K. So trying to get there before week 1 this year. So appreciate it if you guys can help me get out there. Appreciate it. Yo, what's up, normal guy? How you doing, sir? Appreciate you for stopping in, man. Jeff, what's good, my guy? Another member of Hardcore Sports right there. Randall as well. Randall is also in Hardcore. Appreciate you guys for being here. So, listen, man, we got a lot of – well, we'll start out with the main conversation first and foremost. I've been hearing the expectations not only on the team but of our quarterback, Jalen Hurts. You have that thing that went out by Gunn this week. Yeah, this week that said that, he was struggling in OTAs that one day. Now, granted, that's all. Practice. Yeah, that's all the Eagles community needed to hear to make it go skyrocket.
Clickbait.
Yeah, pretty much. But I just want to know what's your opinion on it, man? And do you read anything into it? And how do you feel about it?
I don't really read too far into it, man. It's practice. They're working on stuff, and this person, was looking for some recognition. He's talking to D Gun too. And D Gun trusted the guy, I believe, and yeah, it was really a passerby story. They didn't really expect to get any traction from it, to be honest. I mean, it was tucked into the episode. It wasn't like a broadcast like, "Hey, Jalen Hurts is sucking." You know what I mean? It wasn't anything like that. And I think D Gun actually thinks that Jalen Hurts is going to do good. You know what I mean? And that's really why I don't really read too far into it. And it was a practice, like I said earlier. And you know, I really have high expectations for this Eagles team this year. I mean, Howie did a really good job all around, and I have high hopes for Jalen too. I mean, of course, he's only human, and we know who he is. You know what I mean? And really, he's only going to get better because he's putting in the work. We've seen this little sample size that we have for 1 year, but 1 year to the next. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Real quick before I do my take, when do Eagle players report for training camp?
It's like a week.
Yeah, it's like the 24th, right? Something like that. And around the 20s somewhere, man. I'm not sure the exact date, but yeah, it's coming soon. Listen, man, I I'm with you. I have a lot of expectations for this team this year as well. But, and I say but lightly, I do understand things can happen very fast that can completely change our whole season around.
Hey, AK, something just covered your mic.
Huh?
Did you put something over top of your mic?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Well, it's good now. It's good now.
Okay.
It sounded
26th.
like a little muffled.
So we report on the 26th, Jeff. I was going to say the 27th originally, but I was like, that feels too far away. But okay, so it is the 26th.
So we got 11 days.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
So listen, man, I'm a huge fan of Jalen Hurts. Most of you know that. I do tear him down where he needs to be tore down, and I praise him where he needs to be praised. But at the same time, I do understand that I root for the name on the front, not the name on the back. I think this kid is something special. I think this kid could be as good as he lets himself be. Because let's all be realistic here, man. Jalen Hurts is only going to be as good as Jalen Hurts lets himself be. No one is going to hold him back, and no one is going to make him take that leap forward but him. And you said it right on the head, man. He works his ass off. If you go out there and you practice day in and day out on the same craft each and every day, you're bound to get better. But it's your own personal self which dictates on how good you actually get. He could have a leap like Carson did from year 1 to 2, from starting year 1 to starting year 2. Even though, Carson was a rookie, he was year 2, but we know
he's a basket case, man.
Yeah.
He wasn't there upstairs, so he's a little different.
But he could take a leap, but what's that leap going to look like? Listen, Gunn said it too on the one thing I was listening to. He said, listen, I did give him shit, and I did say about the 10-play drive. He's like, but you also were missing out on the other things that I said. He has progressed over the offseason. You can see that he's changed his mechanics, changed his throwing a little bit. He's got the work in. He's put the work in. He's gotten better throwing the football. He said pretty much like Jalen is a work in progress. It's just how patient are we going to be? If he comes out this year and he wins 12 games and wins one playoff game, moving forward next year, he gets a little better and a little better each and every year. from Gunn's perspective, he was saying he doesn't expect him to make that leap just like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be like boom, boom, always there.
It's gonna be a
It's a
progression.
yeah, it's progression each and every year. I
But
think what scares people is no one truly knows what Hurts' ceiling is.
I mean,
Yeah,
there was another article that came out too that kind of like pissed me off a little bit. Tiki Barber let out an article saying that Jalen Hurts has a noodle arm.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, did you see him throw from the end zone to like the 40-yard line? To Quez Watkins and complete the pass accurately. I mean, there's been a lot of you know bullshit. I mean, the guy's got an arm. I mean, he's not like he doesn't have a rocket arm or anything, but he has a top NFL QB arm. He does, and I just believe in him, man. And what Tiki Barber said was wrong, and he's an old running back, from the Giants, so I expect it from him.
Hey Jeff, by the way, bro, I love you, dog, but fuck Tiki Barber. Just saying that. Nah, listen, man. Real quick, shout out to Key in the building. You guys saw the intro. You guys saw the two countdowns. Appreciate her for hooking me up with those. She does a lot of the work behind the scenes for each and every one of us. So shout out to her and all the work she does. We really appreciate it. Coach Dante, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate you for showing up, man. Mitch wants to know how you're feeling, buddy.
A little better today than I was yesterday, that's for sure. Yesterday, I thought I was gonna have a stroke. It was bad, man.
Damn. Yo, AK, for an early Christmas gift, I would give you Jalen Rager jersey. I got you.
Nah, that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
I'll trade you. I'll trade you a white side.
Never will see me wear that shit. Hey, no problem. Anytime, Key. Seriously, you do amazing work, so you need recognition for it. So, listen, man, I've seen some things from Jalen. You were talking about his arm. I see, like, for instance, his rookie year against Dallas when he dropped that dime to Djax. That there was a defender right in his face, and he just let it rip. You say that one to Quez, this past year against San Francisco, right? Or
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
So his arm talent is there. He shows it. It's just not always there.
yeah.
I
He guesses himself, dude. He second guesses himself, and I think it comes along with trust in the guys he's playing with too. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
doesn't want to have the ball intercepted, and you can tell by how less he does get intercepted that's what he really cares about. He wants to be good.
yeah. Like, listen, man. I understand Jalen Hurts does not have the strongest arm in the NFL. No shit. You know, it's also not the worst arm in the NFL. But what he needs to work on the most, in my belief, is throwing guys open.
Mm.
It's accuracy, you know. But some of that stuff also comes with, like you said, trust in your wide receivers. When he takes his 3-step, his 5 or 7-step drop, is that guy going to be there at the time that he's supposed to be there? A lot of that comfortability, that trust and execution comes with trusting one another. You know, I can kind of see last year, and these are no excuses by any means for any bad games Jalen played last year. I'm just saying, as a football player, chemistry means a lot. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
It
And
does.
if you don't trust in your guys to be there when you throw the ball, some things will probably be off. And that's kind of what we are trying to change here this year. You see that AJ and Jalen are really good friends off the field. He is the godfather of AJ's daughter.
That
You know,
connection's there, man. They're going to be big this year.
yeah. The more and more he plays with Devontae Smith, the more comfortable he'll become. You know,
Yep.
hopefully he won't have to deal with much of Rager this year, so he won't have doubt at the slot
Well, there
position.
was already talks about him being traded like recently.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not 100% convinced yet that they're not going to try and at least force him on us somewhere.
Yeah, well,
You know,
they got to get his capital up a little bit, you know. That's the thinking behind that, but I think it's dumb.
yeah, yeah, and but my whole thing is though, I don't need Jalen to have the best arm in the NFL. I just need him to be accurate, read his reads right, and be precise on his passes. You
Yeah.
know, you can win with throwing the ball 10, 15 yards each and every time as long as it's accurate, as long as you throw the guys open, as long as you make sure the ball is on point and on its mark each and every time. You know, uh, you don't need to throw 40 yards downfield every time. You don't. You know, it's going to be a good balance, I believe, between passing and running. I believe you'll see us pass a little more this year than what we did last year, which, in all honesty, we should.
Mm.
You know, considering that we need to see this year that leap from Jalen. So you need to see if he can handle passing. You need to see if he can handle everything that he was taught this offseason. Because if not, sad part is we might be looking for a new QB at the end of the year, which I hope we don't. I hope next year we can go into the draft and use those 2 first-round picks on something other than a quarterback and just get even better, you know. But my expectations for Jalen are really high, man. They
Well, they
are.
should be. I mean, we got all the right pieces, and he's going to have the ball a lot more in his hands too because of the defense that we established.
Good job, Tiki. No, sir, Jeff. Yeah, no. What's up, awesomeness? No, dude. Listen, I expect Jalen to have over 4,000 yards this year. I have a bet with Boys for Life that Jalen needs to get over 3,500 yards and 22 touchdowns passing.
Oh, that's going to be done. That's going
You
to be done.
know, I look at last year. Yeah, he had 16 passes thrown, touchdowns, but he also had 10 called back.
Yeah.
You know, that's 26 if whether him and the receivers were on page and, whether they stayed inbounds or not, or, hey, if 10 of those come back, he has 26 last year. You know, even if he gets 6, well, that's 21. So, I mean, we shouldn't have that big of a problem this year with touchdowns being called back. So I expect those touchdowns to be there this year. You know, and when he said 22, I was like, stamp it.
Yeah.
Stamp
Done
it.
deal.
22.
Done deal.
I can live with 22. If he would have said 30, I might have held up and been a little.
That's $100, dude, right?
No. It's for gear. You know, whether it's a hat or a jersey, but still, I mean, it's $100, I guess, if it's a jersey, But
yeah, dude, you're gonna win that one.
I hope, man, because listen, if he comes out here and he does not get 3,500 yards and he comes out here and he does not get 22 passing touchdowns, I'm looking for a fucking new quarterback next year.
Well, we're gonna have the first rounders to do it, so
that's what I'm saying. But if he doesn't come out and do better than last year, and he doesn't come out and make the playoffs, and he doesn't,
we're all gonna be kicking ourselves in the ass,
one
dude.
playoff game, bro. I'm sorry, guys. I love Jalen Hurts with all my heart, but I'm looking for a new quarterback next year.
It's going to be a breakup.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you right now, if we get 9 wins or less, it's over. If Jalen does not come out here and get 35 plus yards, close to 4,000, and have over 22 touchdowns, bro, it's fucking over. At least for me. You know, like I said, I love the kid, but dude, this is about the Eagles. This is about my team winning. You know, I can love a dude with all my heart in the world and want to see him succeed, but I want to see my Eagles succeed more.
Yeah.
You know,
well, this is year 3. I mean, and that's normally what they give him now. So I know he didn't have 3 full starter years, but still, 3 years in the league, you gotta step up this year. You got the pieces. There's no reason why he shouldn't have at least, 25 touchdowns, at least 25 touchdowns in the air.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is a certain number for me that if he does not reach, man, I will be questioning it. I'm not going to sit here and
There's
let
a lot of quarterbacks coming out next year, bro.
yeah.
You know,
There's a lot of things that I can stand. There's a lot of things that, as an Eagle fan, I can let go, man. But I'm not going to sit here and be biased when it comes to my quarterback. I'm not going to sit here and put him down either. I will lift him up, but in the end, man, he has to show up and show out. There is no ifs, ands, or buts for Jalen this year. This is make or break for him. If he comes out here and he makes it, dude, we'll all be the happiest fans in the world because we won't have to worry about a quarterback, hopefully, for, the next 5 to 7 years. But if he
yeah.
comes out and he just busts it and he falls straight on his face, man, I mean, in all honesty, I don't think we'll really fall off that much because this team is technically kind of built to a point, But the following year, if everything goes right, and hopefully all you need to do is just kind of plug in a new quarterback who you think is the guy and just pray to God in a year or two after that, you're back to full strength again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I want to comment to Jeffy there with the quarterbacks. I'm with you. I think Dak. This is his last year. Like, I think they're gonna be talking about trading him after
Wait,
this year.
which one are you at?
Uh, three or
Oh,
four
holy
teams
crap.
looking for quarterbacks
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
by next year.
Yeah, sorry. I'm way behind. Um, Suave JP, all I can think about is Jesse Bates, but it's unlikely this year.
I don't know. It's a possibility. I mean, he doesn't want to play under the franchise tag.
Yeah, I mean it could be likely. You just got to see. I mean, it does depend on him. It does depend on how he feels he fits with this defense and this team. If he feels that we're even ready to compete right now, all that stuff comes into play. I do think that if we would get him, that would be a huge upgrade for us, a major one. But uh, I don't know, man. The Ravens are gonna have to want somebody we have too for it to work out. So we'll see. But I do think Jesse Bates would be an excellent component to this safety room.
Mm.
Jalen Hurts can be a good QB. The question is, will he be able to become a complete QB with great pieces around him?
Well, that's the idea behind it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's better than Daniel Jones, that's for sure. You guys gonna be saying "say la vie" to him this year.
Yeah. No, you walked into that one, Jeff. Sorry.
Dak, Carson Wentz, and Jalen, Daniel Jones are out next year. They're gone.
Listen, man. I think that's the thing that scares most Eagle fans. Like I said before, man, people don't know exactly what this kid is going to be. I think these day and age, man, people want the definite more than the which, in all honesty, even I do. I want the definite over somebody who is just a maybe. Like for instance, when we took Rager was just it was a hope and a dream to where
Mm,
Jefferson was the definite, you know.
yeah.
So some people might look at Hurts and they're like, all right, well, we're hoping and dreaming that he can be what we all expect him to be. And then you got people who are rooting for him, even though he's not there yet, but they do see it. So Jalen's really tough, man, because it's really hard to hate him. Like truly, it is really hard to hate this kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's
But
got all the intangibles.
up here, yes,
Yeah.
100%. Mentally, man, this kid is a bomb shelter. Like you can't break him. You know?
His athletic talent has to match up with the mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And in all honesty, man, I really, really think too this kid is built for Philly. He
Mm,
is. You know,
yeah, for
not
sure.
not much get to him. And when I saw,
He doesn't reply to any bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and you know, I was talking to Jimmy Smith last year when we had him on. You know,
mm,
when we had him on the late night that one night, uh, we were talking to him, and remember he told a story about his cook, his chef that he has at his house that morning. He
yep.
was making him breakfast, and over Sports Center, it came on, and they were talking to him about him, and you know they were talking negative about him a little bit, and his chef went over and changed the channel, and Hertz looked at him and said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, get my ammo.
Yeah, he was what are you doing? Turn it back. He's like, oh, my bad, dude. He's like, I figured, you know, you didn't want to see that stuff. He's like, no. He's like, I love seeing that stuff. That's what makes me want to be better. When I
Mhm,
heard that, dude, I was like, yo, this dude can take negativity and
mhm.
spin it to a positive for him. Like, dude, that you need that in Philly because this not for us as fans, like us as fans, dude. If you play your ass off and you go out there and you play with 100% of your heart until the game is over, you will have our respect.
Hey,
It is literally your, you know what I mean? Like yeah.
hey, Jeffy, this Daniel Jones thing, man. Come on, put a cork in it. I mean, he's been with the Giants how many years, and how many times have they made it to the playoffs? None. Jalen's been with the Eagles 1 year, and they made it to the playoffs as a starter.
Wait, what are they arguing right now?
Who's better, Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones?
No, this Westbrook thing.
Oh, no, that was
15 fumbles of his career. Okay. I don't know. Jalen has to win at least one playoff game for this year to for me to believe. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you.
yeah. That'll
So
cement him in.
yeah, if he wins one playoff game this year, dude, I think that'll open the door for him for the near future. You know, it does all depend on what his numbers are. You know, I mean, can he do the same thing and roughly have the same stats as last year and still win a playoff game and be okay with it, or does he have to do better? Like, you know, there's things that
I care about the W, dude. In
me
the
too.
end of the day, as long as he wins, that's what matters. I don't care about stats. Stats are bullshit. The eye test is where it's at. You know what I mean? Winning games, and he's a winner.
Yeah, no, I sorry. Um, I had something to say for what you just said, but I lost it all of a sudden because I read that right there and it shot my mind the other way. Um, that's my fault.
It's all good, man.
Oh, they're arguing Brian Westbrook over Tiki Barber. Jeez, I don't
And
even.
and McCoy. McCoy was way better, dude.
I'm not getting into this conversation, bro. I got a lot of stuff to talk about yet. I'll be here all
Right,
night if we get into
right.
this.
Ring the bell.
Barber was not better than McCoy, bro. What are you talking about? Come on, Jeff. Come on, dog. No, no. Yeah. Okay. I want Jalen Hurts to play well and do his job, but when the time comes and Herbert
They're
becomes
never going to be available. You're going to be waiting a long time. You're going to be older than your grandfather.
now, oh, that's what I was gonna say, dude. Like, I wonder how this is gonna go. You know, because we saw a couple weeks back the Jalen Hurts conversation about a contract extension, even though that we all know that's fool's talk right now. You know, we have to see shit in the season before. If he's doing good, you're looking at late October, early November for that. Let's be honest.
Mm.
But there is two ways this can go down. Jalen Hurts could take their offer right away and he can sign it, and whatever that may be when that time comes, or this kid could truly bet on himself another year.
I'd wait till the end of the year to give him any kind of contract.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I mean, when you look at it as like the Jalen Hurts aspect, maybe he decides to bet on himself one more year. I believe it was, I forget who I was watching said that, but they're like, maybe he chooses to try one more year. If he does better, it's even equals out to a more bigger payday. But then you also can turn around and look at it and be like, well, what if he injures himself that following year?
Right.
So
I think he's going to take the money, and I think he'll take a team friendly deal too.
Yeah, no, listen, if Jalen comes out here this year and he wins like 11, 12 games and he gets one playoff win, at least in my opinion, and this is what I would hope them to do, I'd keep it between the
30 grand. I mean, 30 million
to 40 million range, right in there, between that 30 and 40. I wouldn't go too crazy with it. I wouldn't try and gyp him either, but
no,
just give him the respectable amount that he deserves and that you both agree to. But you got to look at it this way, man. If this kid comes out and does that and you can get like 4 years, $40 million, we'll just say that 4 years, 40 mil. Dude, do you know how much that is saving us? I mean, look at the Watson deal. That's nothing. As soon as Joe Burrow and Herbert and all these other guys that are going to be having contract extensions soon, that includes veterans, bro, we'll be sitting pretty at 40 million. You know what I mean?
We're beating a lot of teams, dude, because those quarterbacks are eating up all that money.
Yeah, so I only hope that Jalen comes out here and does good, man, because like I said, if you can get him for 40 million for 4 years, bro, man, I'll be laughing when they pay Joe Herbert like almost 300 mil, and shit like that, because they're going to have to do better than what Cleveland did for Watson. Now, granted, in that 4 years, if Jalen goes off and balls out,
you give him an extension, boy.
Yeah, then we're screwed. Then we're going to have to fork out the big bucks, but at least you get 4 years at a very, very cheap cost. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think this is going to happen for Bates. Bengals are in the Super Bowl window. They would need to fill in the gap.
Well, they got somebody.
They just drafted someone, didn't they?
Daxton Hill.
Yeah, they got Daxton Hill. Now, granted, listen, I mean, Daxton probably needs a little bit, but I mean, they have people.
Mitch.
But no, I get what you mean, Drew. Los Angeles would be stupid enough to let him go. Spano's family is having money issues as well as ownership turmoil. Okay. Daniel Jones sucks, but Jones has outperformed Hurts. I'm not even touching
Next.
that. I'm not even touching that.
Next.
Jeff, did you come in here just to troll tonight, bro? They drafted Daxton Hill in the first round, and I think they're planning to replace Bates with him. Yeah. No, I knew they drafted somebody. I just forgot who it was. Sorry, Jerry, if Jones sucks, Hurts isn't. Jeff's just being a hater right now. He drank his haterade tonight. Be right back.
He drank that blue juice.
All right,
tripping, bro.
No problem, buddy. Be safe. See you when you get back. Let's be honest. Both guys have sucked until proven otherwise. I mean, my quarterback this past year has thrown more touchdowns than your dude did both last year and the year before. I mean, Hurts had 16 passing touchdowns last year.
And never tripped over his own feet getting to a touchdown.
what, 12 last year and 11 the year before. I mean, whatever. What
Oh
round
man.
was that? That was first round they took him, bud. Yeah, what's going on, Nikki? Appreciate you so much for stopping through. 19 people in here. Thank you guys so much. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe if you already haven't. On our way to 1K right now. How many times has Daniel Jones take the Giants to the playoffs, Jeff? Not sure. Never.
Hmm.
How many wins has Jalen Hurts won in the playoffs? I'll wait. How many has Daniel won? I'll wait. Well, I, yeah, no. Sorry, man. Your argument is non-valid, and Jones beat the Eagles with a broken freaking neck. Don't make me jump on and drop some knowledge on you. Hey, you know where to find me. I ain't going nowhere. Hurts does not suck. Yo, what's up, Taj? How you doing, my guy? Hey, you need to come in and restrain your giant friend, man. He's
Get a leash on this guy.
yeah, he's flying off the deep end right now, bro. Yo, Raphael, what's going on, man?
Swimming without his swimmies.
I don't even love Jones, but to say Hurts is that much. Whoa, 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 whoa! No one said Hurts is that much better. Did you ever hear any of us say that, dude? I didn't say he's that much better. I just said he's better. You're the one going to the extent of saying that much better. I just said he's better. I didn't ask about wins in the playoffs. I asked how many times has Daniel Jones taken the Giants to the playoffs.
Oh, fucking Cowboys fan.
It doesn't matter because Hurts. See, that's the point, though, bro. You guys always go back to the team in the end. You're like, oh, but Hurts actually had a damn team. Okay.
He didn't have the receivers that he has now.
Not last year. Dude, I am the far from biased Eagle fan you've ever met. Dude.
I'm fucking biased. I'll admit it.
Now, Jeff, stop hating, man. 31 overall first round. Yeah. Yo, prime
And Dak sucks. They're gonna be trading him next year.
Hurts is a better athlete and has more of an upside than Jones, but Jones right now is a better passer than Hurts. I don't even love Jones either. I think he's okay. Yeah, reading on him perhaps, but they really would have to believe because the window to return is now. You want to put faith on a rookie to lead your secondary. No, I get you, dude. I think it would honestly be, I wouldn't say a mistake, but
They're gonna have to sub him in and out, N'Kobe Dean. But he's gonna be good.
No. We're talking about Bates.
Oh.
Yeah, he's still talking about Bates here. And Daxton Hill. No, I don't listen, I'm not going to degrade Daxton Hill like that. You know, I just think the veteran experience would have an effect. But I mean, I don't know. I got to see Daxton Hill play first. I know he was really good in college, but I mean, it does take a little bit of time for rookies to, just get their feet wet and feel comfortable. So I understand what you mean, Drew. 25 mil for me. Huh? Am I missing something here?
He's talking about for Hurts's contract.
Oh, okay. Wow, I am really behind then. That threw me off because that was a while back. They drafted 3 safeties. Yeah, so they're probably moving on from Bates. When the rumors of Bates came out, I have been occasionally checked Bengals podcasts. They may want to bring a starter for Bates, perhaps in another position. Dude, in all honesty, to a point, it all depends on who it is. That's worth it. Bates could definitely come in and be a starter day one for us. If like I said, it just all would depend on who people want back. I'm even okay with Chuck Clark from Baltimore when we tried to do that during the draft. I'm okay with those guys, but who do they want and what do I got to give up for them? I don't want to give up too much because I don't want to hurt us, but I'm not going to disrespect them either. So, it just all depends on what they want and who we give up. Bro, no one said Hurts is great. What are you talking about?
We'll see how great he is this year.
Oh my God, dude. Bro, you have the StreamYard. What? You have the StreamYard. Just hop in. I don't need to send the link. It's on the StreamYard, dude. Since Daniel Jones was drafted, Giants are picking top of the draft every year. Yeah. Herbert. That's an easy answer. He's plastered all over your Twitter. That's an easy one. Is this even the real Jeffy? Yes, no, that is the real Jeff, bro. That's what I'm saying. Put your boy on a leash, man. He's tripping right now. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Can the real Jeffy please stand up?
Are the hooligan fanatics in football and basketball in the United States like in Europe? And
Yes.
Europe, throw smoke flares, burn chairs, sometimes curse the players.
Yes, we pelt Santa Claus with snowballs.
Yeah, they can get pretty rowdy at times, dude. We have been known to do some crazy shit.
Yeah, like Dallas fans coming to Philly. There's not too smart wearing a jersey and all that, and then
Okay,
Jeff, I gotta ask.
Harry,
Jeff,
what do you want to ask me?
bro. Are
What do
you?
you want to ask me?
You
No,
smoking
I'm
crack,
fine.
dude?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm not usually like
I'll be
this.
right back.
I'm not usually like this.
I know.
But when I hear like the complete slander about how Jalen Hurts is that much better than Daniel Jones, I have to get on here and I have to hop
Bro,
on.
what are you talking about? No one said he's that much better than
You
Daniel.
just said Jerry just said that he's that much better than Daniel Jones. And I don't even like Daniel Jones.
Okay, well, I'll let Jerry defend himself. I know I didn't say it.
I
didn't
never said you.
say
I
that.
never said you. I apologize for coming on here and coming on the stream, but
fine.
I'm not saying you, AK. I said fan. I said fan, not fans. And that's fine if you want to be if he wants to be biased. I understand that there are fans in every fan base that are biased towards their team. And I'm not defending Daniel Jones. But to go at Randy's point with saying that Jalen Hurts made it to the playoffs, Jalen Hurts has a better team than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had no receivers, a crap offensive line, horrendous scheming. Barkley missed games. A defense was pretty good, but not great. Daniel Jones didn't have a lot of things going his way.
You guys had a shitty coach. That's really all it is.
The players were hurt too, and I'm not even trying to be a biased fan here. I'm being
no.
realistic.
I mean, a lot of things contribute to bad quarterback play, but I think Hurts is a little bit better.
I'll give you that. I think Hurts is a better upside. I think he has a much better upside than Daniel Jones. That's not even a question, because if he could become a better passer, absolutely, Hurts has a better upside. But when you're talking about just right now as a pure passer in the pocket, I think Daniel Jones is a little bit better. But I think Hurts' upside is definitely higher than Daniel Jones. That's not even the question. Not even the question. I just had to I don't ever usually do this. I had to jump on and just say.
I wasn't saying he was tremendously better. I mean,
you were saying he was a lot better.
No, I just said he was better.
And I honestly don't. I don't.
If I said he was a lot better, I would have said, "Dude, Jalen Hurts is a lot better." But I didn't say that.
I mean, listen. The only thing that I can say, and dude, I even hate referring to this because I hate defending the man, is the only reason and the only thing that makes me feel Daniel isn't that guy is I just keep going back to Wentz's 2020 season. when he made the playoffs with that team that we had. I
Mm.
mean, it was bad, and we all remember that. You know, that's something Daniel Jones will never be able to do. And I fucking hate Wentz.
You're not
Like,
wrong. You're
and,
absolutely not
and I
wrong.
fucking hate Wentz, dude. I really, really do. You know, he broke my fucking heart. But I'll tell you, man, what he did that year
He
was
quit.
amazing. And Daniel will never be that guy.
Wentz fucking quit, man.
Luckily, Daniel Jones hasn't quit on anybody yet. But yeah, Daniel. The one thing I think with Daniel Jones is he cerebral? Like, is he just messed up right now from everything that's happened to him in the first 3 years? That when he actually has a coach that will scheme something around him and help get the most out of him.
I'm excited to see him do too. I'm excited to see him play this year too. To be honest with you,
I'm
everybody.
curious to see how Hurts is going to play this year. I'm actually going into the season thinking Hurts could be a much better player this year. I think that the division is going to be better this year than most people think.
Yeah,
I picked the
I
Eagles
agree
to
with that.
win. I picked the Eagles to win, but I think Daniel Jones sometimes gets treated way unfairly, and I'm not even a Jones fan.
I don't even
think he's
really
that
want to
great.
pick who's gonna win, dude. I mean, we haven't even played a game yet.
That's the thing too. Yeah, I mean,
Who
I
will?
think it's going to be a good division, and I mean, who knows? Jones could go out there and look like a Pro Bowler, and Hurts can go out there and put it all together and have himself a fantastic season. We don't really know, but I mean, I'm just like giving Jones a little bit of love because the guy hasn't had he hasn't had the best of situations for any quarterback, and I'm not saying he's
Sure.
going to be great.
I'll agree with that.
I don't think he's the answer either. I don't honestly think Daniel Jones is the answer. I think we're going to be looking for a quarterback next year.
I'm
But
kind
at
of
the
glad
same-
he's not.
No, I don't blame you. Listen to the Giants fan base, and you'll see how much they love Daniel Jones. Just
I know.
listen
I hear
to
it.
Giants. They hate Daniel Jones. A lot of them want him to fail.
We got a
like
bunch
some
of flip
Eagles-
floppers on the Dallas too.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's Eagle fans that are waiting
Oh,
for
yeah.
Jalen Hurts to fail.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody,
Oh, yeah.
there are fans all over like that.
Well, see,
I
like I
question
said,
it though.
The only reason why I think people are split with Hurts is because when you look at him, you can't truly tell what his expectations and what his true ceiling is. And that's scary to some people when you can't sit there and actually put a finger on something. You know what I mean? And you don't know the exact answer. Like it could be really, really good, or it could just be good. You know? And I think that's what some people have an issue with is they don't quite know exactly what he's going to be. They know he's going to be something, but what is that something, and how far is that something going to go?
What are your expectations for both of you guys? What do you think Hurts' ceiling is as a quarterback?
That's for him to decide, man. That's
Do
for him
you
to.
want me to compare to old ones, or just like what do you like? Are you talking number wise? Or are you talking like compare him to
Numbers wise, like the type of quarterback you think his ceiling is as a player? Like, what do you think he could be?
I think he can be. I think he can be above McNabb. I think he can. Not by much, but I think he can be above McNabb. That's saying a lot, though. But he's got to prove it first, though.
No, I could see that. I think Hurts does have a very good upside. I could see him as like a better Lamar Jackson because I think he's got the athleticism like a Lamar Jackson. And I mean, he's got to improve in the pocket when it comes to his passing. He has to do that, or he's not going to get to that point where you guys are hoping he'll be. And he's struggled with his pocket passing.
He's got to deliver the ball on time. That's where I'm at with him. I mean, Lamar Jackson's got a lot of talent, dude. I can't really say that. I wouldn't even measure them two.
I think Lamar Jackson also is a guy that has tremendous talent when it comes to his ability to just scramble out of the pocket and make something out of nothing. I mean, it's just a rare talent that nobody really has, like a Michael Vick. But I think Jalen Hurts' upside is pretty good. He's just got to he's got to put it together. And he's got every opportunity this year to put it together for his team with the players he has around him.
Olivia, I would never trade 4 first-round picks and a quarterback for any quarterback. That's just too much.
But I apologize, AK, for crashing your stream. I never usually like this, but the Daniel Jones stuff got me a little heated because I don't think Daniel Jones. I think seriously the fan base is everybody's treating Daniel Jones a little bit too hard, and I'm not even a fan of his. But
we'll see how he does.
The guy does. If he does great, awesome. Maybe we have something. If he does it, Adios,
Well,
amigo.
this
We'll get
is
our
his
next
last
quarterback.
prove it year.
It's a last prove year for a lot of Giants this year.
You
A
know,
lot of
I
guys.
just truly hope, man, that when that Wink and uh the they will give him a fair shot. You know,
Mhm.
like you do see some of these coaches come in and just because they're not the guy that they drafted, they're not the guy that they picked, they
Right.
they, they don't care as much, so they don't give them 100%
Sideline.
focus. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, so I hope they don't make that decision to just kind of go with the flow and until they can get their guy next year, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Like, I hope they actually give him a fair shake.
We'll have to see this year. He's got to stay on the field too. But I mean, I'm curious to see how Sirianni's gonna, structure his offense to get the most for Jalen Hurts. Do you think they're gonna run the ball? I think they're gonna run the ball a lot too.
Who?
I think they're gonna run the ball a ton this year.
Us?
The Eagles, yeah, because it really was successful for them and played to the strength of Jalen Hurts when they were able to run the ball consistently.
I don't think we're going to fare away from the run game as much. I think we will still stick to it for the most part because obviously you saw last year that is our strong suit. You know, and like I always say, man, if something's not broke, don't fix it. You know,
Mm,
but I do believe as well that we will throw more than what we did last year for the most part because yes, when you acquire somebody like AJ Brown, you do think a lot of throwing, but also AJ Brown's one hell of a run blocker as well. You know, he doesn't get enough credit for that. This dude can really run block, man.
I agree.
So I think they got him for both reasons, you know, because now that gives them a JJ or Sega blocker out there, plus someone who can catch as well. But so they get a little bit of both, you know. I expect Jalen to throw like 25 to 30 times a game now,
Hmm.
you know, because we need to see if this guy is the answer. You know, this is his year. You need to throw it all out there. Whether or not he fails, like we all said, that's on him. But you need to know your answer now. You know, you built this team, so, and you gave him the pieces. Now he's got to go out and show it. So,
Yep. Gave him the keys.
you know,
That gave him the keys, and you got to see what he could do with it. I mean,
It's going to be a really interesting season, man. I think there's going to be some players on our team that people are not expecting to rise. You know, like a
mm,
Kyron Johnson. That kid he's slick, man.
and I like Jordan Davis. I think that was an excellent addition for you guys on your defense. I think he fits exactly the type of mold that you're trying to build for that defense, and he's your Fletcher Cox replacement, pretty much. When Fletcher
And
Cox leaves.
our special teams with Britton Covey. Whew,
Mm.
man, I just think all three phases of the game are just going to be like so much better this year. So
Hmm.
I do expect a lot from our team.
I
bro,
mean,
Blue City. I'm not sure, man, what, but they're always talking about Dallas. You know, right now, you know, you go into YouTube and you look up like Dallas or Eagles, dude. It'll be literally the debate is did Philadelphia do enough to get over Dallas this year? You know that's literally the debate on everything. It's Dallas and Eagles. Yes, I understand they don't talk much about the Giants or Washington, but they do talk about Dallas a lot. And it always comes down to no, yes, the Eagles did a lot, but still, if you're taking Dak and Hurts, I'm taking Dak over Hurts because Dak has proven more. That's
mm,
the conversation in the end. They always give the lead over to Dallas because of Dak over Hurts.
mm.
You
And
know?
then there's no reason to give the Giants or the Commanders any love. The Giants have sucked for 5 years. They've been horrible, and the Commanders have had one season where they won the division at an under 500 record. So there's a reason why neither of those teams get the respect they deserve. And I mean, I think the Eagles are a better team. I think the Eagles are a better team than Dallas. I'm being honest. I think the Eagles, up top to bottom, are a better team than Dallas right now. because I think you guys have good depth on the most important positions, and that's the offensive and the defensive line, where I think Dallas's offensive line is finally starting to like show some of their age, and they're starting to take steps back, and maybe that's why Ezekiel Elliott is not the same type of player that he was at the beginning of his career. Now you could say mileage too,
He's
but
still getting 1,000-yard seasons, though, man.
he does, but it just doesn't feel like he has that same type of explosion that he had at the beginning of his career, because those offensive lines were opening up massive holes for him to run through.
Oh, definitely.
Well, and I want people to realize something, man. I know, like, when you look at A.J. Brown and the acquisitions that we brought in and Devontae Smith and stuff, a lot of people are sitting here and they're expecting Jalen Hurts to go to more of a pocket passer, kind of like how Russ did over the last, after the first 2 or 3 years of his career, he kind of settled in.
I don't think so. I think they're going to play his strengths, man.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to. Listen, then this is just solely my opinion, man.
And they've got 2 first-round picks, so they're not really worried about him getting hurt. I mean,
no, but I truly think that when it comes to Jalen, man, you gotta let this kid run. There is going to be times we ask him to sit in the pocket and throw. There's going to be times he'll have to just escape because of pure pressure alone, and he'll have to just make up a play and kind of go old school with it. But then there's going to be some plays where we just have him run, because you can't take Jalen's legs away from him. Because Jalen is one of those players where if you take his legs away, you're kind of crippling him. Lamar's kind of the same way. You take Lamar's legs away. Yes, he does have an arm. Yes, Hurts has an arm. But when pockets break down, their first thing goes straight to their legs. Well, I have my legs. I can escape,
Yeah.
So you don't want to take that aspect away from their game. That's kind of where I believe we failed Carson. When they tried to make Carson into a pure pocket passer is when you started seeing him fold.
I think that torn ACL hurt him too. When he tore his ACL in that one game and he was coming back from that. That didn't help him out either.
Gained all kinds of weight, Yeah, it was no good, man.
But Carson was also used to being able to escape pressure. Some guys need their legs, man. And so to a point, yes, I understand you want them to be more pocket present. You want them to be in there, tough it out, hang in there, make the pass. But you also have to realize you got to let Jalen Hurts do Jalen Hurts shit.
Yeah.
And
let's be honest too, Daniel Jones can maneuver out of the pocket too. He showed it a couple of times.
Wheels.
He's got pretty decent wheels. I mean,
Yeah.
Last year if they didn't call that pass, the interference, he would have had a touchdown against Washington on his legs alone. So he's had the ability to get in out of the pocket when he actually sometimes has the chance. But yeah, I mean, you gotta play to a quarterback's strength, and Jalen Hurts' strength is improvising as well as being able to use his legs to make something out of nothing. That's his best attribute for this team.
I wouldn't be surprised if Washington beat Dallas this year.
Neither would I. I think Washington's defense is underrated, and I think that addition of Dotson at the wide receiver position is going to open up a lot for McLaurin.
Listen, man, I'm not loving all this love from you Giant fans, man, because that's really making me feel like I'm about to get cursed.
Trust me, I'm getting sick. You have no idea how sickening it is for me to give any love to you guys. It's like making my skin crawl. I hate giving love to you guys.
Hey, you guys can come right on over. We got plenty of fan room.
I gotta be real, and I've gotta be honest. I am being a non-biased Giant fan. I gotta be real with you guys. I think you guys are a good team.
Joe over there, bro.
You have not hopped on with the Giants fans before to bring that Eagles mojo too.
It would have helped you.
We don't want your help.
You need our help.
We'll suck on our own. We will suck on our own until we get out of it.
So therefore, take our help, bro, because we haven't sucked. So obviously, we're doing something right.
We finally look like we have some direction now. Thank God. Compared to what we had in the previous years, we actually have a sense of direction now with the organization. Not Dave Gettleman. who is
A couple
pretty much
years, you guys would be
crippled
good.
that roster. I think we'll be decent. I think we'll be good. I mean, I love Thibodeau and I love Neal on the offensive and defensive
Yeah, you
line.
guys got two players that I wanted. Yeah, I wanted both of them.
I think Andrew Thomas is pretty good, and I really like that Wandale Robinson kid out of Kentucky. I think he's going to fit that system for Kafka and Dable perfectly. He's the exact type of wide receiver that they want over there. So the Giants have talent where they could be a team that surprises. Do I think they're going to be
That's true.
great? No. But do I think they're going to be a team that maybe if things go to put together, they can be a team that shocks people? Maybe.
I'm gonna give you
We'll
guys.
see.
I'm gonna give you guys 7 wins this year.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
Run me to the bank, and I will take it.
I mean,
will take it.
first year coach, first year for a lot of things. I'll give them 7 wins.
like,
I'll
dude,
take it.
I've already told you, Jeff. I think you got. Who do you play week 1?
Tennessee.
Oh, you're fucked.
Oh, I think it's going to be a hard game either way.
Who
Tennessee's a
do
good
you
team.
play week 2?
Carolina.
You could win that one. I think so.
I think we could. I think Carolina and the
Maybe.
Giants are sort of on the same wavelength. What do you guys play?
We
First
play
2 weeks.
and then
Oh,
Minnesota.
you guys should.
You guys are gonna be. You guys.
My thing is, I was going to sit here and say, well, you guys could pull an Eagles this year like we kind of did last year, where you come out the first game and you destroy somebody because you don't know what they're going to do. But then you said Tennessee, and that's not going to happen.
It's because I worry about that offensive line that's coming together and going against that very, very good pass rush of Tennessee. Though I think Tennessee's offense is a little weaker now without a service like a good wide receiver out there. So
Yo, if you guys get Archie Manning, dude.
it would be typical. It would be a Giants thing that we get Arch Manning, and he's the savior of the day. I doubt it too.
Another fucking Manning. I would.
He's not gonna want to be a Giant.
I don't want to wait more years. I want to win now. I'm sick of losing. I'm so sick and tired of losing. I'm sick and tired of going nuts every single game and like losing my mind with this team. I want to win now.
Suck.
It does.
Losing does suck.
You guys have been a good team for years. Like you've had a couple of seasons here or there where they've been down, but in terms of the NFC East, the Eagles have been the most consistent team for the past 20 years. They've been mostly a good team for a lot of time. The Giants have been coming spurts where we've been good
owner
for a certain amount of time. Some Eagles fans beg to differ on the owner of the Eagles, but hey, I think the GM's done a pretty solid job too. I think Howie Roseman's made some pretty good moves for you guys.
Dude, I've never really have sat here and said that I hate my owner or my GM. All right,
You. I'm not saying specifically.
No. I'm just speaking my mind here. You know, I've never came out and said that, and I don't think I will. I do understand that sometimes you have shit that happens, and you have shitty drafts, you have shitty off seasons. I mean, hell, look at you guys. Look at the Browns. Look at the Bears. Look at Jacksonville. So many years, all these teams have been bad. We could have been right there with them, but we weren't. You know, you're going to have bad years. Not everyone can be perfect unless you're Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. But, in my opinion, for how long we've had our GM and for how long we've had our owner, the positives outweigh the negatives.
For sure.
We have some stupid negatives. Do not get me wrong. Like we have fucked up negatives, dude, that never should have happened. But
Whiteside,
but for the most part, dude,
I'll take your negatives over ours any day of the week. Any day of the week.
You guys won a lot though in your past.
We did. I mean, we had a good run when Eli first came in. We had a very good run for at least like a 5, 6, 7 year run. The team was good, and then once that Super Bowl team,
you guys had a good team, not even a great quarterback. You had a good team.
Eli was clutch though. Eli might not have been a great quarterback when it came down to it. Eli Manning was the guy you wanted to have the ball in his hands because he would get the job done.
Yeah,
and he proved it twice. I mean, I agree. The Giants had great players around him at that time, and then it's because they lost their way and they couldn't draft. Every team, when you want to become a good team, you have to be able to draft well. And the Eagles have been consistently a good drafting team, especially on the offensive and the defensive line. And the Giants have had such horrendous swifts on the draft for the past 10 years, and it's no coincidence why our team has been bad. We have only signed 2 players in like the past 5 to 10 years to second contracts. One of them, Odell Beckham, didn't even last 1 year on his contract, and the other one, Sterling Shepard, has spent more times on the injured list than he has on the field. You have to be able to draft well, and that's how you're going to be able to be a good team. And the Eagles have done it, and the Giants have not. And that's as fair of a take as I can give.
Free agency helped us a lot too.
Yeah, it did. You guys had pieces around though on when you terms drafting that helped you be able to pick up some of those free agents to put you guys over the top, like you did in 2017 when you won the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, 2016.
You want my fair take, Jeff?
Hit me with the fair take.
You should hate Odell Beckham the rest of your life because ever since that boat pick, y'all have been shit.
It's more than just the boat pick. I thought that team was not as good as, the defense was very good at that year. The offense was pretty much Odell Beckham making an incredible play, and that's it. I mean, Shepard, Cruz, they made some plays time from time, but that Giants team was overrated.
You have to admit, though, that since that boat pick, y'all have went.
Yeah, but it's not just the boat pick. There's a lot of reasons why that team has been bad. Injuries, bad draft picks, bad free agent signings, bad trades, bad ownership at times with some of the things that he's done, and sticking his nose in business and too much in like personnel stuff with the whole Dave Gettleman, the Eli Manning, the Joe Judge, the Pat. It's just a lot of bad things that the New York Giants have done the past 5 years, especially on why their organization and their team has been horrendous for years. And I think this is the first time where John Mara has pretty much said, I'm stepping back. I'm going to allow Joe Shane, the GM, to run this team, get the players he needs, get the coaches he needs, and I'm going to allow him to do what he needs to do to rebuild this team in the image of what he wants to, what he wants this team to be. And that's what this team, the Giants, have needed for years. I mean,
you guys used to have some really crazy defenses too, man.
So I miss those NASCAR days with Umanura, Tuck, Strahan, Pierre-Paul, Kiwanuka.
I hated them.
I hated Justin Tuck with fucking passion.
Justin Tuck was my favorite defensive player. I love that guy when he was the team.
I hated all of them.
Dude, and we discussed this before the draft, bro. You guys always fall in the shit. I don't understand. You guys get fucking pass rushers out the fucking ass. You've always
not recently.
Oh, I know, but I mean,
you guys got Thibodeau now, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tib kind of makes up for all that, but dude, you guys,
I mean, Ojulari too.
LT, fucking Tuck, JPP, Ojulari, now Thibs. It's like, dude, you guys have always fucking had that one pass rusher that everyone just wants to grab by his throat and just throw him against the wall and punch him in the fucking face.
Look at you guys with offensive line. You guys have had great offensive linemen for so many years too, and we haven't. You guys have always been good when it comes to drafting good offensive linemen. So we would have you on the defensive side, but offensive line, you guys have always been good at that.
I'm not saying we haven't. I'm just saying y'all have been a nuisance up
for sure.
And so have you guys. You guys have been our biggest nuisance for many years. We've had some of our worst losses because of you guys that I will never forget. You guys have been a pain in our ass for so many years that it brought me to tears sometimes with how much.
Shit, we got a game called The Miracle in the Meadowlands.
Well, listen, man,
that's an Eagles game.
I'm not going to lie to you, Jeff, and even as an Eagle fan, I'll sit here and I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass, dude. When you think of edge rushers in the NFC East and who has probably been the most dominant, I do give it to you guys when it comes to probably edge rushers who have terrorized the NFC East since we started. You guys have always had that edge rusher. Now, granted, we have too, but you guys, you're on another level with those edge rushers. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean?
We've been able to draft these players that were, solid, maybe good players in college, and be able to mold them with the right coaching and the right system to get the most out of them. I mean, Tuck was a 3rd-round pick. Umanura was a 2nd-round pick, and Pierre-Paul, he was a raw guy who barely played football when he came into the league in 2010. They were able to mold these guys into the players that they were, and I mean, you got to give credit to the Giants organization, the coaching. Tom Coughlin, well, he must have done
Good
something
coach.
because the people the players hated him, but they grew to love him because of what he brought to that organization. And that's something that we've lost is the Giants have lost their identity. The identity of the New York Football Giants has always been defense, pass rush, aggressiveness, attack the quarterback. That is what has always been the definition of the New York Giants, and we have lost our way for so long because this team became too much about the flash, about the like the wide receivers, the running back, the offensive marvels and everything. We just lost our way when it came to drafting good defensive
They tried to
and offensive
become
players.
they tried to become Dallas.
And we were never going to be Dallas. None of our guys ever stood healthy. None of
He
our
wanted to
players
make
have
more
ever
money.
had healthy.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You
Listen,
wanted to make more money, man.
Dallas, dude. This is the way I'm going to put it. The last 26 years, bro, Dallas has been fool's gold.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
100%.
listen, man, every year these guys are sent out every offseason, and they are talked about, and they are portrayed to be the best, you know, and every year they are proven so wrong. You know, like, and I feel bad for Dallas fans, man, because they are lied
I
to.
don't.
No,
I don't.
no, I'm saying
I don't.
they are lied to, bro, every fucking year.
Yeah.
Every year. Like,
We're gonna be Super Bowl champs.
No, they buy into the hype every year. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to be the greatest team. We're going to win it all this year. We all know what happens.
and that's why I feel bad for them. You know?
Hell.
I don't, because they talk trash all the time,
Yes.
AK. Every
do.
single
Yes.
year, worse than everybody.
No, they do.
Everybody.
Yeah, they do it to themselves. I will give you that. But, I mean, dude, that's almost like the Browns hoping for a quarterback for 20 years straight. You know, and still to this day, they're still trying to find one. But
If Watson stays healthy, if Watson can play, he's a good quarterback. I mean,
I don't know if
Watson
he's
is
playing
good.
this year, man.
I'm not sure.
I think he might get a 4 to 6 suspension. That was the latest rumor that went out. That
Dude, there's no way. There's
can
no
see
way.
it. They dropped the allegation. They settled pretty much all those cases. I mean,
Texas did, not him.
Bro, to be honest, I don't give a shit. I just want it to be fucking over so we don't have to talk about it anymore.
I agree. I'm so sick and tired of it. Just get it over with and just. It's like the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case. Just end it already. We've heard enough about it.
Isn't it over?
Well, yeah, I was just making an example out of it, but like that's
Yeah.
just like it ended like a month ago.
They drained
Just
it out
let
way
go
too
over.
long, bro. They should have just did it like a band-aid and ripped it right off. You know, like just do it fast, get it done. Like,
I don't know why that was public even.
It never.
They made it public.
Well, thank God you fucking didn't get him Blue City.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to. When did Deshaun Jackson get drafted? 2010, 2009,
No,
8. One of those years.
well, I'll look it up. I do.
We had good receivers at that time. We had Steve Smith, who was great when he was healthy. I mean, he was one of the best route runners in the league. Not the Steve Smith with Carolina, the other Steve Smith, who you guys had for a year.
Yeah.
He was good. We had Akeem Nicks, who was a monster when he was healthy. Teams had to double him to try to take him out. Cruz was a good receiver, too. And Manningham was, as maddening as he was at times, Manningham made those clutch catches when we needed him to. So we had good receivers already. I mean, I'll admit, your Eagles team of Vic, McCoy, Macklin, and Jackson, I hated that team. You guys, tortured us, how good that your quartet was. You guys were, just
Westbrook,
unbelievable
man.
how good that quarterback team was.
No, dude. The most underrated dude on that whole team was Avant.
Oh, Avant, I agree. Avant was solid as a slot receiver.
Everyone, dude. He didn't get enough credit.
Jason Avant, yeah.
Because
No, Avant
everybody
was-
was.
He wasn't the fastest guy, but he had short hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah, dude. Jason Avant would catch everything, bro. Like, that ball was a magnet to him. I love Jason Avant.
And he took advantage of those one-on-ones when everybody was worried about McCoy, Macklin, and Jackson. They had to double one of the or two of those guys, and then Avant just did his thing in the slot. He was your chain mover, and he did a damn good job at it. I thought he was one of the most underrated receivers in the league. Didn't get the respect he deserved. So I mean, yeah, I agree. Avant was a good player, and you
So,
guys tortured us all the time.
Blue City, you really gonna come in and disrespect like that, dude? Come on now. Well, we are not Cowboys 2.0. No.
Some Eagles fans are not saying you guys. Some Eagles fans have gone like over the ledge with like how your expectations this year.
Yeah, I know. But when you say the Eagle fans, I mean that includes me.
Yeah, that puts everybody in a
That's
block.
everyone in a nutshell. Like,
Yeah.
we're not all that way, but
Some
nah, man.
Giants fans think we're going like 11 and 12-5. We're going to have a renaissance year. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I think we're going to win 7 games, like 8 games the most.
I
Show
got
it,
you.
prove it.
Uh,
We at least have one thing in common, guys, that only our teams have done, and that's beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. We're the only 2 teams that have ever done that. So we at least have the one thing in common. We're the only teams that solved the Tom Brady riddle in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we can definitely moonwalk all over that shit.
Bro,
Dallas,
do you want to
Dallas
know
didn't do that.
the secret to the Super Bowl?
What's
Don't
that?
lay down. Don't lay down. That's exactly why Atlanta lost their Super Bowl. They went into halftime 28-3 and they stopped. They laid down and they lost.
Yeah.
If you look, when you guys played, you played all 90 minutes. And
Yeah, you have to against Tom Brady.
when we won against
Absolutely.
Tom Brady, our defensive line never let up. We didn't come out that second half and play, prevent or zone or safe. No, we took it right to them. You guys took it right to them. When you
Exactly.
give Tom Brady time to sit and react, that's when he murders you. And you guys did not do that with your defensive line both times, and we did not do it with ours. You made sure to keep him on his toes and to keep him rattled. That's what we did. Every time Tom Brady has won, it's because he wasn't rattled.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got to get that guy off the mark for
You're
sure.
done. Yeah.
And let's be fair too. If it wasn't for a bad decision by Seattle in their second Super Bowl and the Atlanta Falcons letting up, Tom
Run
Brady
the
would have 2
ball.
less. He would have 2 less Super Bowls. So he has
Yep.
those 2 teams to thank why he had 2 more Super Bowls. But at least the Giants and the Eagles were the only teams to figure out the best way to beat Tom Brady, and that's you got to attack him, put him on the ground. And it doesn't matter how many playmakers he has out there, because he can't win the game when he's going to be on his back pretty much the whole game. And that's what the Giants did in the 2 Super Bowls. Is what the Eagles did too.
They couldn't stop Marshawn Lynch, dude. I don't know why they stopped running. Like, that was dumb. He made
Pete
it all the
Carroll
way
got
up there.
cute. He got
No.
cute.
Stupid.
Bro.
No, that
There
wasn't
is
on Pete Carroll. That wasn't on Pete Carroll.
there is times I look at the NFL and I sit here sometimes and I do question at certain moments if shit's scripted at sometimes, because I look back at that Seattle game, dude, and listen, I don't think any of us up here will sit here and truly say that we think Pete Carroll's stupid when it comes to being a head coach. I mean, in all honesty, Pete Carroll has been pretty successful in Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, he's respectable. I don't think that Pete Carroll would mess up like that.
No,
Like,
that was
you
that was
know,
Russell Wilson's call.
Surprised Russell Wilson would all go out there and be like, you know what? I know the call is a
He
pass
wanted
right now,
to
but I'm giving the
win.
ball.
He wanted that win, dude. They even said it. There was a some documentary on it, dude. It was Russell Wilson's call.
Mm,
uh,
that's a ridiculous call by Russell Wilson then. And
Yeah.
if Pete Carroll had any play in it, that's just a horrendous way of doing it.
Well,
You run the ball and you just get the win.
Russell Wilson's a diva, man.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to be the hero. and he
Marshawn
ended up
Lynch,
being the
yeah,
hero.
Marshawn Lynch got all the kudos when he played. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to win the Super Bowl. It's all about me." You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
well, you in the 2011 9-7, you were there's only 2 people that went 9-7 and won the Super Bowl, right? That's you and Baltimore.
I believe so. And that Giants team, they couldn't run the ball. I think they had one of the worst rushing offenses. Their defense was suspect, and their receivers were in and out of the game. They had a lot of injuries that year, but they were able to come back and get healthy. And then Nix was like an absolute monster in the first two games of the playoffs. Manning was on his game, and the defense and the running game finally started showing up. And then Cruz, and then that San Francisco game, I mean, is you could hate it. People that, can say Eli Manning was not as good as, he might be elevated to that point, but watch that San Francisco game when he got pounded to the floor and he just kept getting up and making those throws and won that game. You got to respect Eli Manning for what he did when it came down to the clutch moments. And that's what you want a quarterback. That's what you want, a guy that's clutch.
Jeff, I got to ask you, man, because this is what we're talking about right now. Who had the better playoff run at 9-7, Joe Flacco or Eli Manning? And take your biasism aside, because in all honesty, Joe Flacco, when he won that year, bro, he was fucking perfect.
I'd have to look at Flacco's stats, but Manning, you have to look back at Manning's stats. Manning was unbelievable in his 2000. I think it was his best year, that 2011 season. He was on fire how well he was playing. That team, him and the receivers carried that team into the playoffs and pretty much to the Super Bowl, how good they were. So it's tough. I have to remember Flacco, like what he did that year. Was
I
that
gotta
the
run,
year?
guys.
All right, buddy.
Take it
Everybody
easy,
have a good
Jared.
night.
Good night,
Thank
Jared.
you.
Appreciate you, bud.
Was that the year that Flacco threw that one deep pass to that receiver that caught it and won the game against Denver?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's like even, but maybe I'll give the like a little bit of edge to Manning. I think he was just unbelievable. It's very close. I think Flacco was amazing that year too. So.
Okay, so yeah, this was in 2012 when he did it.
Okay.
He played 4. He completed 73 of 126 for 57.9, 1,140 yards, 9 yards per average. He had 285 yards a game, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 8.7 touchdown percentage. He was sacked 6 times with 117.2 QBR rating.
Jesus. That was Flacco?
That was Joe Flacco, his 9-7 when they were 9-7 and won the Super Bowl. So yeah, he had 1,140 yards, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for 117.2.
I'm just trying to find
that postseason, bro. He was.
I'm trying to find Eli Manning's playoff stats, like how he did in 2011, because I remember he was really good. He was really good.
I know they both did very well. I just don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding it right now. The playoffs. I'm only getting the regular season right now.
There.
I apologize.
No, you're good. What year was it? 2011.
Yeah. Because I mean, Knicks had alone, he had almost 200-yard games.
All right, so Eli Manning in 4 games had 106 of 163 for a 65% completion percentage. He had 1,219 yards, 7.5 average, 304 yards per game, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, 5.5 touchdown percentage with 103.3. He was sacked 11 times.
Yeah,
he had more yards per game. He had more yards. His percentage was better, but Flacco had him on average, touchdowns, interceptions, and QBR rating.
Mm-hmm.
So it's even.
Yeah, it's like splitting hairs, pretty much. Yeah. But both of them came up clutch when it came down to the clutch. When the moments came, both of the guys were able to answer the bell. And That's all you want in a quarterback, and that's why Nick Foles gets the respect that he did for Philadelphia. Because when it came down to it, the guy just made the plays, and that's what you ask for a quarterback. Just make the play.
Yeah, no, and in all honesty, man, I mean, Nick Foles playoffs, dude, in his own right, he had one hell of a playoff run as well, you know.
Mm.
I mean, our Super Bowl alone, I believe we broke the yardage record, right? It was over like 1,000 yards for both teams.
Mm.
So
I mean, Blue City, I agree. 2007 was a special season for the Giants, but both of them were special. Just like for the Eagles, their 2016 team was special. Anytime you win a Super Bowl, it's always like a special moment for your franchise.
yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, you're just pretty much splitting hairs with those two teams. Like, you're pretty much splitting hairs with Manning and Flacco. They both got it done when it came down to it. And Flacco gets a lot of hate too from fans because he didn't really have the long career that many fans were hoping for. But when he was in his prime, Flacco was a good quarterback.
yeah. Further, we're just talking the playoffs, dude, not the entire year. Just
Mm.
the playoffs in that one year. You know, out of the 4 games that they played.
Yeah,
So,
that's when Victor Cruz literally exploded on the scene that
yeah,
year. Like he literally just came out of nowhere, and unfortunately, it started against your team.
it is what it is, dude.
Yeah.
No, Blue, and it's funny that you say that. You know, he said you guys always find a way to beat Seattle. Well, in all honesty, dude, we got to talk to you guys and figure it out because Seattle's been our fucking golden goose for so long, dude. For some reason, we can't beat them. I don't know why. Seattle has always been a thorn in our side. Uh, we have not had the best of luck against Seattle, but hopefully that does change now that Russ is gone.
Mm. Well, no, Cruz. You guys didn't make Cruz. Cruz was already becoming a good receiver. He just started it in Philadelphia, but Cruz was already becoming a great receiver in the NFL. And he had that other guy on the opposite side who's also becoming really good.
I'll give you Knicks.
I don't remember him putting up like huge stats. He's just clutch when it came down to it. He made the clutch plays for you guys.
So he completed 77 of 106. He only had to play 3 games because we had a bye. So he completed 77 of 106. He had a 72.6 passer completion percentage.
Wow.
He had 971 yards. He had 9.2 average, 323 yards per game. He had 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 5.7 touchdown percentage, and he was only sacked twice with 115.7 QBR rating.
He was a perfect system quarterback. He was the perfect type of quarterback that was used in that Peterson and that forgot the name of the coach on the Colts right now. Frank Reich. He was a perfect quarterback for the system that you guys need to run, and he did everything that you guys asked for. The numbers don't jump off the page as much as what Eli Manning or Joe Flacco did in their Super Bowl runs, but Nick Foles was incredibly accurate. He's a good system quarterback, and he was a guy that he wouldn't turn the ball over in those bad situations that would cost you guys the games. He did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
And that's all you ask for. He's probably like a Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, but it doesn't matter. He won you a Super Bowl. That's all that matters, is that the guy won you a Super Bowl.
I'm about to be down here soon, positive, but appreciate you coming in, bud. No, and you know what, man? I got to say this, and, you know, I've never really spoke about it because I didn't even have a YouTube at the time it happened.
Mm.
I don't think. No, I didn't. Listen, man, I was not one of those people to pick sides, but I will tell you this. I was more along the lines of keeping Nick Foles rather than Wentz at that time.
Mm.
You know, I mean, in my mind, when I looked at it, and from what I was being told at the time too, Foles was that guy who just he was the veteran. You could just tell him kind of what to do, and he went out there and he did it. No questions asked. He followed what the coaches wanted. He didn't try to get fancy. He didn't try to overdo things. He's like, all right, you want me to throw it here? He threw it there. He just followed what the coaches wanted. And in all honesty, man, that's kind of what helped us win. I don't truly know if Carson Wentz never got injured if we would have won that Super Bowl. I mean, I would love to say that we would have, but I can't truly say that we would have.
It's a shame too, because Wentz was a good quarterback. He was an MVP level quarterback at that time, and then it's just a freak injury where he got hit in the knee when he was trying to run it in for a touchdown, and he tore his knee up, and then I think it's that, and just psychologically, he's just not been the same. He's just never been the same quarterback since he suffered that knee injury. It's no correlation that might have something to do, and maybe he's just doesn't have the athleticism as he was before.
Yeah, no, and I believe that's something that helped Wentz be picked to stay. And even I caught myself because my wife asked me, she's like, well, which way do you want them to go? At first, because of how much of a fan I was of him, I did say Wentz because I was like, listen, yes, I understand Nick won the Super Bowl. He was the MVP, but when you match their athleticism, I was like, it's obviously Carson Wentz is more athletic, and at the time we didn't know how he was going to come back. We didn't know any of that, but we knew what we saw. So, and obviously he was younger. So to me, it was like, well, let's go with Carson then, especially if he can come back and do what he did just this past year, we should be okay. But then you saw the downfall, and it was not pretty, but I don't know, man. I would love to sit here and say if they would have kept Foles, things might have been a little different, but I can't guarantee that either. You know what I mean?
I think also what also helped out Nick Foles, I think the quarterbacks coach or the offensive coordinator, I think was Frank Reich the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach at the time?
No, he was Frank Wright was the QB coach.
Okay. I think when he left, I think that also hurt your team a lot, and it might even hurt Nick Foles because I think Frank Reich was such an underrated part of that offense, and he was able, as that quarterbacks coach, to get the most out of a Nick Foles that time. And I think that was an underrated loss for that Eagles team is when Frank Reich eventually left to go take the Colts job. I mean, he was instrumental to try to pretty much getting the most talent you could out of a journeyman quarterback and Nick Foles. And I think you guys did make the right decision when you let Foles go, because are you really expecting Foles to do exactly the same thing that he did that 1 year? Sometimes quarterbacks of that kilts, like they have that magical year and then they just go back to being what, you expect them to be. And that's an average, middle of the road quarterback.
The only reason, Jeff, and I said, now I'm not saying he would have ever reached a Super Bowl again. What I'm saying, though, is that he would have made it a lot more interesting and competitive than what Wentz did. Mm-hmm. Because the chemistry that Foles had with Peterson, you could tell, dude. Like, for instance, look back on when we won the Super Bowl, right? He just walks up to him and says, Philly, Philly. And he was like, yeah. Like, how'd you know? Or no, that's a good idea. Like, they just had that chemistry, and you need that with your quarterback and your head coach. And I believe that's one of the reasons why Wentz didn't work here and why Peterson got fired, because you had two people with two different chemistries and they wanted to do two different things that it didn't work out, but you obviously seen the chemistry between Foles and Peterson. They were comfortable working with each other. So you're right. They might not have ever went back to the Super Bowl, but I don't think it would have been as bad as what people think. Because you got to remember, man, Foles' first year with us when he first started, he went 27-2.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I remember he had that fantastic 1 year.
Dude. his very first year, and then he comes out the next year, and it was like week 1 or 2, he broke his collarbone, and then we shipped him out.
Mm.
Like, dude, we've done Nick dirty. I'm not afraid to admit that we've done Nick dirty. I think Nick should have been our quarterback back then.
Yeah.
But then we ship him out to St. Louis, and I don't know, man. That's why I don't even like hanging on to the past. That's why I don't even like bringing up the past, because there is so many what ifs, and it's like, dude, I have no control over this team,
Well,
and I would have done things different. Maybe I wouldn't have. I don't know, but I'd also understand these are very hard decisions these guys have to make.
that's the thing too. I mean, that's what a lot of Giants fans are holding on to is the past. And what you said before, we lived it as Giants fans with the whole Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning thing. They had perfect synergy, and there's a reason why they were able to play off each other's strengths in terms of head coach and quarterback, and why this team was able to have the type of success that they did during that time period. I mean, you had the right coach, you had a clutch quarterback, and there's no coincidence that eventually when Tom Coughlin left in 2015 and Ben McAdoo came in, I mean, Eli Manning was just not the same guy. I mean, he also didn't have the draft picks around him, but I mean, that was pretty much the downfalls. When Tom Coughlin left, that pretty much broke Eli Manning because those two were so close. And I mean, in terms of, I mean, just like quickly going back to, I mean, with Daniel Jones, all I'm asking for Daniel Jones this year is just to play to your strengths, go out there. Don't be afraid to just make it. The play is there. Don't be afraid. Don't hold back. Just let it rip. Go out there and just do everything you can to try to get the most out of you. I think Dable and Kafka will do everything they can to get the most out of Daniel Jones. And it's on Daniel Jones right now because he has an offensive line that's improved. Galladay will be back. Tony is here. Shepard will be healthy. Slayton's back. You might actually have a tight end in Bellinger. The offensive line with Neal and Thomas at the offensive tackles. The first time we actually have legit offensive tackles that we could build around.
Yeah.
We have 2 pass rushers now with Thibodeau and Ojulari that we can build around. We have questions on the back end of the defense, but we actually have something to look forward to. It's on Daniel Jones now to show and prove everybody that's pretty much said this guy sucks. He's a piece of crap. He's not a good quarterback. This is his chance to go out there and prove to everybody that, hey, maybe I'm a lot better than you guys think, and I just was not helped out by my organization. And that's the same thing with Jalen Hurts. Hurts, I think he's got a strong upside. He's got to go out there now with everything around him and go out there and prove that he can be a top echelon quarterback. We don't know. We have to wait until the season comes around. Who knows? Both these guys could be a lot better than we think. Both these guys could suck. One of them could be good and the other sucks. It's the NFL. It's so unpredictable. You really just don't know until they strap on those pads and they get on the field on week 1 through 18. Just saying.
No, I agree with all that, dude. I really do. Blue City, what if Alshon did not drop that football, and what if Nick Foles won you guys a second Super Bowl, beat Tom Brady again? All right, well, first off, man, for me, I've always said this, and I'll keep saying it. I don't think we win that second Super Bowl anyway, dude. I think the reason that we lost to the Saints that year was because we did not have LeGarrette Blount. I will stick with my guns on that till the day I die. I believe LeGarrette Blount was that missing piece in 2018 that kept us from going back to back. I believe if you had LeGarrette Blount in 2018, you wouldn't have had that pass to Alshon. You wouldn't have had to, because you would have had a running back that was a power back like we had the year before. And
He's such an underrated running back too, LeGarrette Blount. The guy just won.
Yeah, and like you wouldn't have had to have so much pressure on Alshon and Nick and throwing the ball if you would have had LeGarrette, and even if we won that game, I don't know if we had the halfback room to win all of it. I believe truly, honest to God, LeGarrette Blount is the whole reason 2018 didn't happen. And honest opinion.
And I mean, with the Giants in 2016, I'm sorry, that team was such fool's gold. I know it was like a good team, but just looking back at it, you look at the schedule. I mean, I know I don't like looking at schedules and like saying this team sucks, this team's good, but The Giants pretty much won a lot of those games because their defense was just made unbelievable plays, and Odell Beckham was taking just something out of nothing to the end zone. That's the only reason why they won. They were that good of a team, and it showed what happened in 2017. You remember every single wide receiver on our roster went down with an injury against San Diego at that time, and our team just couldn't stay healthy, and then we had to deal with the Eli Manning BS with him being benched because McAdoo had an ego and he knew he was getting fired. So this is like his last little FU to the organization. I'm going to sit your quarterback and break his streak of playing in consecutive games. So I thought that team was widely overrated in 2016. I don't even consider it that great of a team, and it proved it in the playoffs. They couldn't get the job done. And Eli Manning was actually good in that game. Just his receivers just couldn't catch a cold. And I think Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, I believe, was injured that before the game that week, and he couldn't play. And they were targeting Sensabaugh the entire time, the backup at that time, and then the Giants had no answers. The Packers pretty much did to us that year what we did to them in our 2 Super Bowl runs. They got us back for that. What's going on, normal guy?
Hey, what's going on, Bill Roman? Appreciate you for stopping through. He said he has a hypothesis. He said since teams knew Jalen was a rookie and wasn't a great checkdown thrower yet, I believe teams were blitzing us. With Smith and Goddard being covered, he had no weapons to check it down.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's important to check it down because he won't be running in the pocket no more. He will look.
I forgot what a check down game was. We haven't had a check down game in years. But I think a lot with what helped your team out and why you guys went on that strong run towards the end of the season is because at first I was watching Eagles games and I saw how pissed you guys were getting because you wouldn't run the ball. Miles Sanders was standing there most of the time not getting the ball. And it's no coincidence when you started to run the ball more consistently, it made it easier on Jalen Hurts. The offensive line that you guys have is a good run-blocking offensive line. And you were able to play off Jalen Hurts' strength, and it's no coincidence your offense played a lot better.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence that your team overall was playing a lot better because you finally did what your team should have done from the beginning of the season, and that was run the ball to set up the pass. And it got the most out of Jalen Hurts' talent that year.
For sure. I mean, dude, listen, when you run the ball and you run it effectively, you're automatically bringing the safeties down and making them crash in the box to stop the run. Okay? Which gives you more passing lanes deep. Now, say they blitz you a lot, and like Bill was saying here, he's like, find your check down or throw quick slants or quick passes, out routes, in routes, whatever, drags, something that is quick. That way, while they're blitzing, you get it out fast. It keeps them from blitzing. You got to find ways to slow down the pass rush, to slow down the blitzes, because if they blitz and they keep blitzing and you keep winning, they're going to stop blitzing because they're going to need to back up and stop whatever it is you're doing, because obviously bringing pressure is not working. So you have to stop it, which means you have to back up your linebackers and stuff and back up your safeties to keep the pass from, getting behind them, which means they won't be able to blitz as much. And I like that theory. You just got to do it, and I believe that's something that really affected us last year, and Bill's right to a point. I don't think he was able to get that out fast enough or get the check downs, there was a lot going on, man. So I understand what you're talking about, dude. And I believe because we went through our rookie head coach this past year, and all the nerves are out now. He knows what to expect. He knows what's coming. He doesn't have to, sit there and install a whole play or a whole system offensively and defensively. Everyone's coming back. They know what they're doing. Sure, you got to tweak little things here and there, and you might add a few plays here and there, but for the most part, everything's set up now. Now it's just coming in, working on the fundamentals, coming in, focusing on the small shit, and his job isn't harder the second time around because it's all established now. It's all there. So I do expect a a bigger improvement this year. You know,
And I honestly, I really like your wide receiver core. It scares the living daylights out of me because the Giants' weakness is their secondary. And I think your wide receiver core is so balanced and it's so different with everybody's skill set. I mean, AJ Brown is, when he's healthy, the guy is as physical can be, like you guys mentioned earlier on the stream. This guy will go up there, he will pluck the ball out of the air, he will outmuscle you, he will play well in the run game. Anybody that knows me knows how much I am a huge fan of Devontae Smith. I think this guy is just waiting to break out into a major superstar. I love this kid. I thought he was my favorite receiver coming out of college. I loved his game. I think he's going to get even better now that he has another legit guy on the opposite side. I think Quez Watkins is your perfect deep threat style wide receiver. Well, all you got to do is not play him all the time, but you could send him on a go route occasionally or a 9 route. Just throw it up to him. He's got the speed. He can go up and get it. And then Zach Pascal is the type of, slot possession receiver that you guys can use in your offense. If you need to get a third down clutch catch, you can give it to Pascal over the middle. He's that type of receiver with the big body. So I think your wide receiver core is one of the scariest and most improved parts of your team because you guys are so balanced and everybody has such a unique skill set that they don't they're not overabundance of one certain skill set, but everybody has a different thing that they do well. And it's going to be for you guys, I'm sure you're just ecstatic. Like you can't wait to see these wide receivers go out there and play, obviously with Brown and Smith being the top 2. So I think they're going to be awesome. And I hate saying that, but I think you guys are going to be good. They're going to be great players on the outside.
we'll see. And I like that, but excuse me. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
No, I like that, and I like what you're saying, man. The only thing that I'm expecting them to do, other than what you have said, is I truly think, dude, we're gonna be that yak team this year.
Mm.
You look at AJ Brown, dude. He's a beast after the catch. He can break tackles. He can get separation. He can do things, that wide receivers can do.
My brother was pissed when the Titans traded him, and he's a huge Titans fan. He was not happy about it.
Exactly. You look at Devontae, dude. Devontae, he's not a big guy. I'm not gonna lie. What is he, like 186, something like that?
I think he's less. He might be like 170 something.
170. Yeah, like he's not that big of a dude, but this kid is a yak guy.
His route running is unbelievable. How good of a route runner he is,
and he bounces off of you.
Yeah.
Like if you hit him, he's got good balance. You might be able to make him stumble, but he can correct himself very fast and keep going.
He's got underrated quickness too, like in and out of his breaks. He's underrated with his quickness, and I mean his route running is unbelievable. He's so polished for a kid coming out of college.
Yep, and then you said it. You look at Quez, you look at Zach. Quez last year, man, we didn't use him all the time, but when we did, man, he made his presence known. He really did. He made some fantastic sideline catches. He made some catches over the middle. He really showed heart, and I like that. Pascal, dude, for how little this guy played, he sure as hell catches a lot of touchdowns. He's definitely very secure with the football, and he can catch it. I expect Pascal to take most of the slot snaps this year, and all. I've kind of been leaning towards that. I mean, he is a Nick guy, and Nick loves him. Nick really loves Zach. He wanted him here a lot, and I think that's because he wants him to be our slot guy, and I'm okay with that. I will take anyone over Rager at this point.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to play a lot of forward. I think you guys are going to do quite a few 4 wide receiver sets too, where you're going to have probably Smith. I'd probably say Smith and Pascal in the slot, and I could see Quez Watkins and AJ Brown on the outside. Like you're going to try to get the most out of these and make these teams pick and choose who they're going to cover. And then obviously you could throw Goddard in there too if you want to go 5 wide. Because I could definitely see the Eagles doing that with the talent they have on that offense. They'll get the most of those players.
And that's the other thing, dude. I didn't even hit those guys yet. You got Goddard, very big yak guy.
Mm-hmm.
Stoll. Don't know much about him yet. We haven't seen enough from him, but he's a big-bodied tight end too. I expect him to be a yak guy. Calcateer, I think that's what his name is that we got in the draft this year. I think that's how you say his name. I expect things from him, and even Jackson. I don't expect shit from JJ, so we're not even talking about him.
That's how we feel like with guys like Daniel Bellinger, who wasn't used a lot, but he was actually one of the quickest tight ends in the draft. And he was actually a guy that's been looking pretty good in camp. Austin Allen is a big tight end, and he's a good blocker, and he's actually got some underrated skills. He got him in as an undrafted free agent. Jordan Akins is a guy he's not a blocker by any means. We're not going to put him out there to get like a key block, but he's going to go straight down the line. He's going to make, those seam catches over the middle. And then Ricky Seals-Jones is that veteran you bring in there, like, what you think you could get. But I think Dallas Goedert he's like a Dalton Schultz. Nobody really talks about him a lot, like as an upper top, like not like a Kittle or a Kelsey or a Andrews, like any of the top tier tight ends, but he just goes out there and makes plays. Sort of like what Dalton Schultz does with Dallas. And he's just a good player. And he's going to get better now that he's got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith for teams to worry about. You're like, oh crap, we got to worry about Dallas Goedert now too. So,
just to answer your question, Blue City, that statue's not going anywhere. Like, it's gonna be there. It don't matter if they're both gone, dude. It's gonna stay there. Yo, what is good, Ed? How you doing, my guy? Appreciate you for showing up, man. Sorry, haven't been on Xbox lately, dude, but we'll definitely get back at it. AKA, what was your reaction when you found out the Eagles fired Doug? Oh my god, man. I was definitely shocked. That's our first ever Super Bowl winning head coach, and we fired him. So, I mean, I would hope everyone was pissed at one point. I was pissed. I didn't care at all whether or not it was a mutual thing or not. I fucking hated it. I have no hate whatsoever towards Doug. I think he was one hell of a coach. I think he will still be one hell of a coach in Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville definitely got them a good one, and he could do wonders there if they let him.
Helped out Trevor Lawrence, that's for sure, after what Urban Meyer did to him. That kid needs as much help as he can get.
Yeah, no, and I think Doug's the right coach for him, dude, but that's only if Doug can do what Doug wants to do, But I don't think our ownership and stuff really helped Doug either. I think Doug wanted to go a certain way and they wanted to go another way, and they just didn't see eye to eye. But dude, I don't give a shit. If I have a coach that won a Super Bowl, I don't give a shit what way I want to go. I'm going
That's
his
why
way.
I love Tom Coughlin. He won me 2 Super Bowls. Super Bowls. The guy will always live. I don't care what else he does. This man brought me 2 of the happiest moments of my life when he won 2 Super Bowls for us. That's all you remember, and that's all you care about. And we feel the same way that you guys did when Tom Coughlin was pretty much they wouldn't say he was fired, but they pretty much forced him to leave. Like that whole debacle that happened in 2015. Let's just be honest. The Giants forced Tom Coughlin to leave that year because they just didn't want to deal with it. And John Mara, I think, maybe was getting a little bit jealous because he wasn't getting the credit that, like, at the time Jerry Reese was getting, that Tom Coughlin was getting, that Eli Manning was getting because of those Super Bowl teams. And I think John Mara at that point got a little bit too much over his head, and that's when the Giants started trending downhill. And there was like issues because Tom Coughlin would not acknowledge John Mara that much during that press conference when he was pretty much saying he was going to resign or he's going to be out of the Giants. Those two did not see eye to eye that whole time. And it was just a very uncomfortable situation because the Giants pretty much unceremoniously told Tom Coughlin to leave. And it's sort of like what you guys did with Doug Peterson. I mean, you don't want to see a Super Bowl winning quarterback get treated the way he does when he goes out pretty much. And it's like, it pisses off the fan base.
No, listen, man. I never really understood. I knew why Tom wasn't really welcome there and why the players hated him because, listen, Tom was a dick to play for. Like, let's not all
He was.
act like it was all sunshine and rainbows over there. No, like, if you fucked up, he let you know. But
He had the curfew.
I will tell you
Yeah.
this, bro, that's what you guys need. From
Right.
everything that I've seen before Tom and after Tom, that's what you guys need. You guys need someone like Tom because you guys were at your best under Tom. But whenever it seems like you guys are laid back and you have fun and or whatever, like you guys really don't do much. But when you guys have someone who's strict, someone who knows what they want and make you held accountable and make you guys like fight for everything, you guys always seem to be a pain in the ass.
I can counter that a little bit because we did try that the past couple of years with Joe Judge, who's a strict head coach, and look at what happened.
Yeah, but Joe Judge is not Tom Coughlin, though.
No, I agree, but at that time, Tom Coughlin was still, he obviously was in the league for a while, but he was still new to the Giants organization, and you probably remember people wanted him gone before that 2007 season was over. Everybody was waiting to get rid of Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin that year.
But see, that's the thing, though. Tom, to me, though, even though he was strict, he had respect. Like, I know people didn't like him and his coaching style, but your players respected him. I didn't ever see that respect for McAdoo or for Judge. Like, those two were just straight up laughed out of the building.
McAdoo looked like a clown. The second year, he was too busy trying to fix up his hairstyle than actually coach up a team. He looked like a friggin' clown. Shermer was lost when he was head coach. I mean, the guy was over his head. He was a great offensive coordinator, much like McAdoo. But when it came to a head coach, they just couldn't. They didn't know how to be a head coach. And I would probably say the same thing with Joe Judge. Joe Judge is probably good in like a certain role that he's in, but he wasn't ready to become a head coach. And that was just pretty much it. And that's what I want to know with Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll's never been a head coach before. So I can't anoint this guy as being the savior. You got to see what he can do in his first year with the Giants. And if he can set some type of tone, it's like, trend this organization in the right way that this fan base has badly been asking for because we've had nothing right now. We're begging for direction. That's in a positive way.
Yeah. Yo, what's going on, Josh Brown? Appreciate you, sir. You are new, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I've seen you here before, bro. So definitely hit that like button, hit that sub. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Eli was probably like with the Eli face the whole time when Tom Coughlin was yelling at him. He was probably like,
And you know what the funny thing is, dude? Like, how are you even fucking threatened by Tom Coughlin? Like, he was the smallest white dude with the pointiest nose and glasses. Like, dude, it's not like he was going to do anything to you.
Yeah.
he was
he
all
just had way to him.
Yeah, he was all bark and no bite, dude.
He made guys like Michael Strahan and Amani Toomer, who were two of the all-time Giants greats. He pretty much pissed them off, but both of them eventually, and the rest of that team, they started to learn to respect the guy because of the type of order he was bringing to the franchise, the type of structure that the team needed. And it's no coincidence that these veteran players, who at the end of some of them at the end of their careers, they bought in. They bought into his hype, and it worked. I mean, he turned that veteran-laced team in 2007 with also a great rookie class. He was able to put that team together and get him on a Super Bowl run. You got to respect that.
And not just that, dude, but you make a valid point. Thank you further for bringing this up because you said GM. Let's not mistake that. What was it in 2000? What was it? 18?
17 when Reese got fired. 2017.
No. When Coughlin took the Jacksonville Jaguars to the championship game, wasn't that 18 or 9?
Oh, you mean when he was the GM?
Yeah. Like, dude, that's the only time Jacksonville was good was under Coughlin.
I think it was 2017.
They had Moyer and Ramsey as their two down corners, and they went all the way to the fucking championship game with that defense, and that was under Tom Coughlin.
The team was
And when
unbelievable.
Coughlin left, guess what happened? Jacksonville went right back to being where they were.
You remember that he took his first time he was a head coach. He took that Jacksonville team with Jimmy Smith, Mark Brunell, Keenan McCardell, Fred
Yep.
Taylor. He took that team to a championship or AFC championship game as well. So
Yeah.
wasn't just his first rodeo with the Giants. He was already established as a pretty good coach in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
They took a chance on him in New York, and I mean, obviously it worked out well. But Tom Coughlin has always been a great coach, and not even trying to be a biased Giants fan here, he deserves to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, when you win 2 Super Bowls and he's been in multiple championship games, Tom Coughlin's a Hall of Fame coach. The resume speaks for itself.
But now listen, man, I have said a lot of things in my day, but I will never, ever, ever take Tom Coughlin over Mike Tomlin. No, Mike Tomlin, Tom Coughlin. I'm sorry, Tom Coughlin is not on Mike Tomlin's level.
It's hard. I mean,
Tomlin's
a phenomenal coach.
Tomlin has never had a losing season, bro.
It's true.
Last year was his worst season ever, and he still made the playoffs at 9-7.
Tomlin's my favorite coach in the NFL. I love the way he coaches his teams. I wish teams had a coach like Mike Tomlin. That guy is a phenomenal head coach.
Bro, I would fire Nick Sirianni tomorrow if I knew I could have Mike Tomlin. I'm not even playing. I would fire any head coach if it was for Mike Tomlin.
I would probably do the same thing, even though I want to see what Dable can do. But
yeah, that's probably excluding Belichick and stuff. But
yeah,
I'm saying though, Tomlin by far is a legend. I mean, dude, he's been coaching 18 years.
When was his first head coaching position? Was it 2000? I think it was a couple years.
Ben's rookie year, wasn't it? At 02?
No, because Cowher was still coaching when
No, it was 02 was his first year, I think.
No, Ben came out in 2004, that draft, and when he won his first Super Bowl in 2005, I believe Cowher was still the head coach. I think Cowher left in 2006 or 7, I believe.
He started in 07. So,
okay.
So yeah.
15 years he's been a head coach.
15 years. 15 winning seasons.
Steelers are the definition of the organization you want to follow.
Dude, they've had 3 head coaches in the last 30 years.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, you marvel at that. With some teams are going through head coaches every 2 or 3 years. Yeah. We had as many head coaches in the past 4 or 5 years as the Steelers have had in the past 30 or 40 years. That's unbelievable. That's crazy when you think about it. Because
I don't know how you can be a Steeler and hate Mike Tomlin though. Why does he hate Mike? I don't get that. I don't get it. Us up here would love to have had a coach like Mike Tomlin.
You're winning. You're winning every single year. You go into the season with an expectation of we're going to be a playoff team at least. Maybe you have a chance of making a playoff run. Most other organizations don't get that chance. Some of them know they're not going to be a good team because Mike Tomlin is your head coach. And every single year you go into the season knowing Tomlin's on the sidelines. We got a shot to make not only a playoffs, but a playoff run because that's how good of a head coach he is.
Now, I will give you that further. Yes, Bill Cowher made that last Super Bowl team that Mike Tomlin won with.
Yes.
In 08, he did do that. But like my boy Blue City just said, he won the Super Bowl his rookie fucking year as a head coach. I don't care how good Mike Tomlin made that team, bro. To be a rookie head coach and to win a Super Bowl, that is the hardest thing to do. I don't care how good that team is, bro. You are a rookie head coach in the NFL. Jeff, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's like being a rookie like Jamar Chase last year and making it to the Super Bowl, or Joe Burrow making it to the Super Bowl his rookie year if he would have done it. That's hard shit to overcome, man. Really, really tough. I don't care how good a team it is.
But here's the counter real quickly.
Right?
It's a small counter. he's never been the head coach without Ben Roethlisberger as his quarterback. Now I know Roethlisberger's not what
That
he
is-
was at the end of his career, but at the same time, he's always had that great quarterback to lean on. What is he going to be like now without Roethlisberger? And I still think he's a phenomenal head coach. I still would pick him as the best coach in the league. What is he going to do now without number 7 there in the quarterback position? You have to
Yeah,
think
but
about that
also
too.
remember, dude, the last 2 years, man, he made that shit work too with Mason Rudolph and oh god, who was the other dude right after Mason?
Dobbs, I think.
Well, it was Dobbs, but then they also had the other. It was the other white boy behind Rudolph. He caught wind there for a little bit towards the end of the year. I forget. It was like 2 years ago. Uh,
If somebody knows the name in the chat, just throw it in there. Who's the Steelers
Yeah.
quarterback a couple of years ago?
it was right after Mason got hit in the helmet with
The Garrett thing.
with the Garrett. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the guy that came in. Oh man, I can see his name. Hodges.
Oh, Hodge. That's Hodge,
Yeah.
I think.
Hodges. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hodge, dude. Like he had a winning season with Mason Rudolph and Hodge. Like, dude, that you know what I'm saying? That's not easy to fucking do. Like, Big Ben is way different from Mason Rudolph and Hodges.
Oh, 100%.
And he still made it work. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, there was times he had to make it work when Ben was down. I mean, he had Michael Vick there for a little bit. Vick had to play a few games. Like, I get it. Ben was always there, but there was seasons he was injured, and Tomlin had to make it work. So,
I think a couple of years ago, he had that severe arm injury, and he missed pretty much the whole season.
yeah,
And they had to go, like the one you were just talking about, they had to roll with a Hodges and a Rudolph that whole season because Ben wasn't there.
yeah. He had his elbow injury.
Blue City, just to go off your last point, yes, I do remember Jim Fossil. That was probably one of my first moments as a Giants fan that I remember in that 2000 team, which nobody expected them to get as far as they did. When they made it to the Super Bowl in 2000, they just ran into an absolute defensive buzzsaw in that Ravens defense, which arguably was the greatest defense in the history of the NFL, how good they were. But yeah, I remember Jim Fossil. I liked him as a head coach. I mean, I thought he had some pretty good moments as a head coach for the Giants. It's just rest in peace to him too. I think his time came when in 2003. That team was pretty much going nowhere at that time, so they had to make a change. And then that's when Tom Coughlin came in, and obviously when Eli Manning came in. That's when Kerry Collins at the time was the quarterback, and then the Giants were going in a complete different direction when they knew that. They were pretty much saying we're drafting a quarterback in 2004, and Kerry Collins was going to stay if he was going to be assured to be the quarterback of that year. And when the Giants said they were moving in a different direction from Fossil and they were going to get a quarterback, that was pretty much the end of Kerry Collins. So yes, I do remember Jim Fossil, and he had some really good years, but probably the most devastating loss I've ever experienced as a Giants fan in 2002 in that game against San Francisco, which pretty much destroyed my heart when we lost that game. The Trey Junkin game. We'll just call it that.
How that's a good. I want to ask you that because that's long ago, and most people that are Giant fans now on here, I can't talk to them about this. So I want to ask you, how did you guys feel about Kerry Collins?
I thought he was a good quarterback. I thought he was a quarterback that pretty much failed in Carolina. He didn't meet up to the expectations that the Carolina Panthers at the time were hoping he would. He was pretty much a journeyman guy, and he was able to revitalize his career for a couple of years with the Giants when they had Sean Payton as the offensive coordinator at that time, and he was able to get the most out of Kerry Collins those couple of years when he had Amani Toomer, when he had Ike Hilliard, even when he had Jeremy Shockey for a couple of years, Dan Campbell, Joe Jurevicius, Ron Dixon. He was able to get the most out of that offense at the time and get the most out of Kerry Collins. But I've always thought of him as a decent quarterback with a couple of good years with the Giants. Not a great quarterback any means. He held the fort down from I would take him over the Dave Browns, the Kent Grahams, and the Danny Cannells any day of the week because those were the the bottomless pit of New York Giants hell for quarterbacks those years.
Yeah, no, I was just asking because I was actually well, I still am to a point, Penn State fan, and he's kind of really the only quarterback to ever come through and actually do something. So
He had a great arm. He had a very, very good, strong arm down the field. He was a great downfield thrower. It's just he made some bad decisions at times with the football, turned it over too much at times. And the Giants were never really known as a passing team there. It was just pretty much them running the ball in defense. That's when the Giants were in that defensive mold where they were just going to play old school football. They were really never known as a passing team. And that's why when they did what they did in the NFC Championship game in 2000, nobody expected that. Like, they literally showed an offense that nobody thought was coming when they just exploded for 41 points against that Vikings team. And that's really when the Giants all of a sudden started to become more of an offensive-oriented team with just great receivers and everything. I think of Bill Romanes. Yes. I don't remember that one for some reason. I don't know why it's like not registering in my head. I remember when you guys took out Ike Hilliard in 2002, you pretty much broke his chest. I think it was Dawkins that did it. That killed me as a fan. I loved Ike Hilliard. I loved Ike Hilliard, and when Brian Dawkins took him out, and I think it was his chest or his collarbone. That broke my heart because I loved Ike Hilliard and how tough a receiver he was.
that man hit him so hard he put Christ in him.
He did, and Ike Hilliard was never the same after that. He was never the same after that hit because he didn't do anything in 2003 and 2004, and then eventually they let him go and brought in Plex. So, but
I forget who did it. Oh my God. Oh man, who was our corner that fucking laid out Reggie Bush, dude?
Was it Sheldon Brown?
Yeah, I think it was. Oh no, it was Lito Shepherd. I think, right?
Yeah.
It was either Shepherd or Brown, dude. Oh my God, I just saw that hit the other day for the first time in a long time, dude. Like, I forget what movie it's off of, dude, but I remember watching, dude. Reggie Bush was crawling away, like. Dude, he was hurt so bad. I felt so bad for him, bro, because I was we've had some good hitters in our day.
Brian Dawkins was he was a pain in the ass, but my God, was he an incredibly scary player to play against. He would hit you, and he would make you remember that he hit you. That was Brian Dawkins. He was a intense as hell player, but damn was he good. Dawkins was special for your team, and he was there. You had Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor at one point as your cornerbacks too. They were good as well.
Bro, I remember just watching that man hit people, and I just sat there waiting to see their soul lift out from their body. Like,
yeah,
he
had Jeremiah Trotter too. Those two guys were unbelievable players for your team. Trotter was undersized, wasn't he? I think he was an undersized linebacker, but he made up for his hitting. One of the favorite
linebackers we've ever had, man. I love Jeremiah Trotter so much, dude. I really did.
He's to you what Jesse Armstead was for us, because I love Jesse Armstead for the Giants when he was there. He was so good. He was so underrated as well. And that's for you guys. That's what Jesse Armstead was for the Giants. I love that guy. He was he was probably the first Giants defensive player besides Michael Strahan that I really was just like a huge fan of. And I loved Keith Hamilton too. Like, this is like when I first became a Giants fan in the mid-90s. These defensive players I loved. Sean Williams, Mike Barrow, Cornelius Griffin, Sam Garnes. I actually have a Felipe Sparks jersey that I got from when I was really young, when he used to play for the Giants years ago. Jordan's, if you know the singer Jordan Sparks, her father, who was a cornerback for the Giants for a few years. Like, those are the players that you fell for, like those defensive hard-hitting players. And like for you, obviously, it was Dawkins. It was probably Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent, Hollis Thomas, Jeremiah Trotter. I think there was another good Eagles linebacker I'm missing, a defensive end, I think, or two you guys had. Oh, Douglas. How can I forget about Douglas? He was a good player for you guys. Hugh Douglas, I think his name was.
Hugh Douglas, yeah.
He was good for you guys. I mean, these are the players that I grew up watching and I remember. Like, those are the guys that from every team that I remember. Dallas had some
Yes,
good
I
ones
remember
too.
Lawrence Taylor, man. Yeah, of course, dude. I'm pretty sure fucking kids who are 12 and 13 know who Lawrence Taylor is. If they don't, they should be ashamed.
Go watch it. Go watch his tape. You'll remember who Lawrence
Yeah,
Taylor is. Or Carl.
Lawrence.
That whole Giants linebacking core you could remember. Pepper Johnson, Brad Van Pelt, Gary Reasons, Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, Harry Carson. All of those guys were people that were just
Man,
menaces in that 80s team. And then Leonard Marshall as well on the defensive line, who I forget what quarterback he hit, but he left a message. So I forget what quarterback he hit, but he like hit a quarterback so bad. I think he broke his jaw or like it changed who he was. That Giants team was scary in the 80s. How like the way they would like come after you.
Yeah, it was literally you guys in the steel curtain, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, no lie, Pittsburgh in the '80s, they definitely had one hell of a defense too.
Oh yeah, with
Mean
Mean
Joe.
Joe Greenwood, I think his name is. A
Yeah,
couple of other players. Their defense was ferocious. Don't forget about the Purple People Eaters too.
huh?
The Purple People Eaters, the great defense for the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, okay. You threw me
Yeah.
off. Purple people eaters. Sorry.
Yeah, that was their nickname that they gave them. Like they would put
Yeah.
the Purple People Eaters. Or the Jets even had a pretty good defense when they had Gastineau and they had oh my God, what the heck was the other guy? Klecko. But that defense too. They had a great defensive line as well. That's how you win, and that's getting back to the point now. Like, but the present day team, that's why the Giants haven't been good because we lost our identity. We lost our identity, and that's becoming a pass rushing team. If you could dominate the lines, you'll have a better chance to win games if you could dominate on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And that's why you guys have consistently, most years, have been a good team because you could do well on the offensive line and you do well on the defensive line. That's why you guys have consistently been a good team, and that's why we've been garbage because we lost our way. And finally, it looks like they're getting back to their roots on what this Giants organization has been, and that's pass, rush, and offensive line.
You know,
That's
man,
what you need to do to win.
I get your frustration, man, and I understand. And listen, I respect that you sit there and you notice that we build from our trenches. And in all honesty, I understand it and I get it and I love it too, man. But I am also at the point in my life where I'm ready for my AJ Boye and my Ramsey for 7 years. You know, I'm tired of having that defense that you can constantly throw on. I'm tired of having that defense that no one really feels threatened deep. You know, like they just feel like they can go on us all the time. You know, I don't know, man. Like I do love the way that we set up our team, but I'm really ready for that.
You ready for that shutdown corner, pretty much?
I'm ready for that Jalen Ramsey corner, man. I'm
The
tired
guy
of
you draft.
worry, dude. I'm tired of having to worry all the time. Like I don't even want to have to worry about that shit anymore. You know, for
Yeah.
far too long, we've had corners that get beat on double routes or get beat on stop and goes. Or, dude, I don't want that shit anymore. You know, I get it. We have Slay. Slay's been doing tremendous. Hopefully, Bradbury does great. But, dude, I'm talking like top echelon motherfuckers. You know, like Jair Alexander, Ramsey, you know, any of these guys coming out. AJ Terrell. Like, dude, I'm ready for any of them.
But those guys don't grow on trees, though. That's the problem. You have to get lucky sometimes to be able to get those.
Yeah, you have to suck to get them, and I understand.
Yeah.
But you know,
That's with the offensive line. How many times have we gone over the years? Our offensive line has been a major problem area for my team for years. How many picks have we missed on that offensive line? How many guys have we thought we could or be the answer, whether we sign somebody or we draft somebody, and they turned out to be an absolute whiff? It's with you guys in the secondary, and I would probably even put the wide receiver position besides Deshaun Jackson and to a smaller degree Jeremy Maclin and Devontae Smith until Smith proves himself a little bit more. those are probably your two biggest problem areas because you guys have drafted some shit wide receivers for years too. Like you have some bad wide receivers you drafted for
Oh, yeah.
a lot of years.
For sure. I mean, trust me. You telling
And
me.
linebackers for us too. We have not been able to draft line. We have not drafted a linebacker in the first round since 1987 when we drafted Carl Banks. Our linebacker position is a disaster for many years. We don't know how to find a good linebacker either.
Yeah.
It's
No,
been a problem.
No, I get it, dude. We definitely have our we definitely both have our downfalls, and to a point, we do have certain positions that we've always been weak at for the most part. You know, like you said, linebacker for you, wide receiver's definitely been like our major, you know, Achilles heel, and especially to a point, even our cornerback position has been Achilles heel. So. I understand where you're coming from, man. It's just there's no reason that uh, you can't at least have one dominant person there, and I don't feel that that's too much to ask, like I would have given up what the Rams gave up for Jalen back in the
You
day.
would have.
Yeah,
Would you feel better if you were able to find that homegrown guy in the draft and be able to develop him and have him be like your guy? Because you know how fan bases are when they can find their guys in the draft. Like you seem to have a bigger attachment to those players than a guy you trade for or you sign in the off season. Like you guys want your own homegrown. You want your Lito Shepard, your Sheldon Brown, your Troy Vincent. Your Bobby Taylor, those types of cornerbacks.
no, I get that, Jeff, but like we said, you have to suck to get that. We haven't
Not
really.
necessarily. Sometimes you get lucky, and you can find
You
a
do.
guy that just sometimes plays maybe has a bad draft status, and then he comes into the league and plays a lot better than most think. I mean, you get lucky sometimes.
You're right. No, you're right. You do. Like for instance, we had 3 first-round picks this year, and then we traded 2 away and moved up to 13 or 12, whatever it was. Got Jordan Davis, but listen, I got to say this, man. I would have loved to keep one of those, and maybe have gotten like a Elam or something at 18 or 19. I'm just saying, like, there. I understand, but there is like, how can I put this? Like, for instance, the Rams, they went out and they pretty much bought their Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
They did do some drafting, but for the most part, everyone that was on that team they bought.
That's a rare occasion, though. You really never see teams do that, and they win.
Sure.
Most teams never do that, and they lose whenever you pretty much give up all your future draft capital for right now.
Now, if you could ask me, would you rather buy your team or draft them? For sure, I would rather draft them because that means they're here long term, right? But if you could guarantee me that I could go out there and I could put a team together and buy them right now with the talent that we have, and you could almost guarantee me a Super Bowl this year or next year, oh, fuck yeah, I'd do it. Because it's all about the Super Bowl. It's all about the wins. But if you can guarantee me the same thing through the draft, I'll take that.
I think you need a nice mix of
You do.
free agents and traded players as well as draft picks. I think that's where most teams had the best success is when they could draft core players on their team that they develop and they become good players in the league, and then you're able to get those free agents and players you trade for to help put you over the top. And I think that's what the Rams were able to draft some good players like a Cooper Kupp, like an Aaron Donald, and some of those other guys they brought in, and then they were able to make some of these bigger trades to help put their team over the top and eventually get them to where they want to be, and that's a Super Bowl victory. And that's what your team's doing right now. You drafted some pretty good players on your team, and then you went out there and you got yourself a Darius Slay, now a Bradbury, now a Hassan Reddick, and an A.J. Brown, because you guys have pieces on your team that are ready to take that next step. And now you just added some other pieces to like help you guys go on an extended playoff run and maybe even a possible Super Bowl run. And that's what most teams do is when they're ready to take that next leap, they go into the offseason knowing that their roster is good enough to be a playoff or maybe even like a playoff team that wins a game in the playoffs. And then you go out there and you make the necessary additions through free agency and through trade to help take your team and elevate them to the next level as a possible Super Bowl contender. And I think that's what the Eagles did this year is they added those pieces that could pretty much feel like put them in that position to win. And that's what some of the teams in the AFC did. I think Denver did it with Russell Wilson. I mean, Los Angeles did it when they got Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. And the Raiders did it with Devontae Adams. They did it with Chandler Jones. These teams made these big acquisitions because they felt like they had the organization and the team ready to take that next step, and they wanted to just add those last few pieces to put them on that next level. So I think that's what the Eagles did too, is they wanted to get those last couple of pieces to put them in a position where they could be a consistently good or even like a potential championship team if things break their way.
Yeah. No, you're right, man, and I'm hoping for the best, and I expect the best, but I also do know that sometimes the worst can happen. You know, that's why I'm trying to stay level-headed and realistic here. I mean,
you see injuries that really debilitate you. When you see guys that you like get hurt, it just kills you, and that's the one thing every fan base worries about is injuries. You get panicked about them, especially in training camp, preseason. How many guys have you seen get hurt in preseason and training camp? A ton.
Well, and that's something that worries me, but I also worry about, hey, man, you know what? Maybe something happens that the chemistry doesn't build fast with these guys, or maybe Nick Sirianni doesn't end up being the guy everybody thought he would be. You know, maybe somehow he ends up crumbling. Maybe somehow JG ends up crumbling. You know, maybe like you said, injuries just out the ass again. You know, anything can happen, dude. Like, if everyone stays healthy on this team, with the talent that we have acquired and we have drafted, and just everything, and everyone going into their second year into the system, there's no reason to not feel excited. There is no reason to not feel like this team can make moves and go places. Now, I'm not saying Super Bowl, but I'm saying they can make noise, especially if they get into the postseason. You know, I really, truly feel that way. But everything has to fall into place. You know, it's just like you said, for you guys to get 6 or 7, everything has to do the same. Now, granted, we don't have that bad of a schedule. Neither do you guys. It's just we're more suited for it at the moment.
You guys have a better overall roster than the Giants do. I mean, it's just the honest truth. You guys have a better, more talented roster than the New York Giants do right now, unless the Giants prove otherwise. And you're right. I mean, I don't know if the Raiders are going to bring Jesse Bates and Ndamukong Suh, but that'd be crazy if they do. I mean, geez, that'd be amazing if they could do that.
Yeah, no, dude, Van, I love what your team's doing over there, man, and I wish you guys all the best. You know, I
picked them to win the division. I am very, very high on the Raiders this year.
So did I. You know, I have Derek Carr. So while I was thinking of his brother for a second, Derek Carr, I have him as my dark horse MVP. I think he can do it. You know. I really like what you have going over there. Dude, if you bring in Sue and Bates, I'll pretty much give you guys the Super Bowl over there. You know,
I think their offense is going to be hard to stop.
The thing. So, yeah, man, definitely keep up what you guys are doing over there. You know, like I said before, you guys have had a lot of stupid shit happen to you guys over the last 2 years between AB and, you know, Ruggs and Gruden. All
Arnett.
Shit, and then moving from Oakland to Las Vegas, and dude, you guys have fought. You fought last year, and you got to the playoffs like we did. You're only going to get better. Like this.
Credit to that head coach too, Bastaglia. I forgot his name. I mean, he did a hell of a job too.
Yeah. So, Nah, Van, I hope you are excited, dude. You have a lot to be excited for, and I
Your
wish.
offense is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching Raider games this year, man. I can't wait to see how it all works out.
The entire AFC West is going to be such a fun division. I mean, as like Giants and Eagles fans, not thinking about just us playing against each other or the NFC East, every single football fan is probably like licking their chops and like drooling just thinking about those AFC West matchups this year. All those games should be televised in a prime time spot because you're going to get a fantastic game with those teams every single time they play. There's no doubt about it. Those are going to be probably the most fun games to watch all season with how good all four of
Thank
those
God
teams
it
can
ain't my
be.
division.
Hmm?
I said, all I know is thank God it ain't my division.
Yeah. I mean, we all hope that the NFCs could be up to that standard again. So we're not called the NFC least again, but the Giants and the Washington Commanders have got to do their job. Cowboys and Eagles have been good most of the time. The Giants and the Commanders have got to get back to being good teams too.
Yeah, stop fucking slacking, making us all look bad.
Yeah, blame my owner for that. He's been fucking slacking for 5-6 years. I think he finally decided to stop slacking so we could actually be a competent team again. You know that the New York franchises right now have the least amount of wins, I think, since 2014 or 15. We have the least amount of wins, the New York Giants and the New York Jets, in the past 5, 6, 7 years. That's the truth. That's sad. How much New York football has fallen that bad. Like it's disheartening how much New York football has been this dismal for so long.
You know, at one time the Yankees could hold you up, but not even that happens anymore.
Well, I think New York is starting to make a little bit of a comeback. I mean, the Mets are a good team this year. The Yankees are a good team this year.
The time, dude.
The Rangers were in the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals this past year. The Rangers have been a good team in hockey.
Bro,
The
I
Nets, as much.
don't even follow hockey, so you got me there. They had no.
I don't follow hockey either, but just hearing it on the radio, on my radio station I listen to, they've been a good team for years. I mean, the Nets are a friggin' disaster, but they actually had some promise when they're the Knicks suck. The Devils have not been good. The Islanders actually been a solid team for a while. So New York might be making a little bit of a comeback. It's just those football teams that got to wake the F up and start becoming competent football teams again. Because this is disgusting what we have to watch all the time here. And I feel bad for the Jets fans that got to put up with their crap too. Like, we suck, but the Jets fans have been a tortured franchise for so many years. I mean, I feel bad for that.
Really feel bad for them?
Not really, but they are our little brothers. So, like, in some ways, you do feel a little bit for your little brother. They're our little brothers. They play in our stadium.
You guys do consider that. I know, but I mean, I would think because they're Jet fans and you're Giant fans, there would be some sort of like rift there. But do you guys really actually consider them family?
When you're a Jets fan and you have not sniffed a Super Bowl since 1969, and you're still talking about memories of what do you call it? I just forgot the name of the quarterback. Their quarterback, Joe Namath. When you're still talking about Joe Namath as the greatest quarterback in your history, you feel bad for that organization because they've had nothing. They have had absolutely nothing to cheer about for like 40, 50. They've had nothing to cheer about 50 plus years. That is a tortured fan base if you've ever seen one. Because the Giants, as much as we've sucked for years, we've made it to the Super Bowl 5 times in the past 25 years, and we've won 4. We've felt success already. We know what it's like to get to the mountaintop recently and win the Super Bowl. The Jets have not even been to the mountaintop and not even have a chance to win it since 1969. They have not had a competent quarterback since Joe Namath. That is a tortured franchise if I've ever seen one. And sometimes you just sit there and be like, they're our little brothers, and I feel bad for them. I feel terrible for that team. I can't hate the Jets.
Because when your best quarterback to get you to the playoffs since Namath is Mark Sanchez, that ain't saying much.
He got him to 2 consecutive AFC Championship games. That's saying something right there. Mark Sanchez, who I think was an average quarterback at best and will always be known for running into Moore's ass in the butt fumble.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
was the only quarterback besides Namath to get them the consecutive AFC Championship games. That's saying something. So
And that's
I
bad,
don't
dude,
hate the
because Mark
Jets.
Sanchez is bad.
He was not great at all.
He
And
wasn't.
Rex Ryan was a decent coach, but
Yeah.
I don't hate the Jets. I don't hate the Jets fans, just like I don't hate the Yankees as a Met fan. I hate the Knicks and I hate the Rangers because they're in when they're in your division, you have a certain level of hate. The Yankees, I don't hate until we play them in like a big game, like a Subway Series or for the championship. And same thing with the Jets. Unless we play them or unless we're playing them in like the Super Bowl, they're just there because they're not in our division. They're not our main competition. For the Giants, it's you guys, Dallas, Washington. You guys are our main objectives. Like your team is with our teams. If you're a Phillies fan or if you're a Mets fan, Phillies, Braves, Nationals, and what the hell's the other team? Phillies, Braves, Nationals, and am I missing another team? I'm forgetting.
Isn't Mets?
Well, Braves, Phillies, Mets, Nationals. I think there's another team. I'm just slipping in my mind right now. I don't know why. It's just like I can't think of it. But like those are your main competition in the division. You're not worried about what the Yankees are doing. The Yankees are too busy worrying about Boston, and they're worried about Tampa Bay, and they're worried about Toronto. Like you guys, like are with us. That's what you need to worry about is your divisional opponents. And when we see the Jets in the Super Bowl, if it ever happens, I don't think so. But if it ever happens in my lifetime, that's when we'll care about the Jets. Same thing with the Yankees and the Mets. When we see them in the World Series again, we have payback on our mind. That's when we'll care about them.
Yeah. No. And there's something else I want to talk about too, man. But that we'll save that for another day. I'll bring it up in the DM, and we'll have to have a.
We could throw it out there. I mean, unless you want to head out. I don't.
No, I am headed out, dude.
Oh,
We've been
okay.
for about 2 hours, 40 minutes here. I know it is Friday night, but I had a long day today, so.
No, it's
But
all
yeah,
good,
we'll
man.
definitely have that conversation another day. But it has to do about QBs and divisions and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. But
um,
I just want to thank you for letting me on the podcast. I apologize for like coming in like storming in earlier because I just want to try to defend my guy. Like I don't love he's still my
Marlins,
quarterback, so I
there
gotta.
it is.
That's at the Marlins. Oh, I mean, it's easy to forget about the Marlins. The
Thank
friggin'
you.
Marlins. Hey, they've won more championships than the Mets have. They've at least gotten it done twice in the recent years. Mets haven't sniffed once since 1986, even though we were in the World Series in 2015. Haven't won a World Series since 1986. So, but I just on a serious note, I want to thank you for letting me on the podcast. I appreciate it so much. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already to the Hardcore Sports Network and the AK Eagles. He does a fantastic job covering the Eagles. He even sometimes talks about the Phillies, talks about the Sixers, like a bunch of the Philadelphia teams. I appreciate it so much. And if you wanna come check out my channel, if you're interested, NYG Jeffy 3285. I cover the Giants, the Nets, the Mets, WWE wrestling, and I even do like some food for thought, like some silly things at time for time. But thank you very much for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I had an awesome time having this debates and these talks with you tonight. I really enjoyed it a lot. And thank you everybody in the chat for coming by to support the
No, it's no
channels.
problem, Jeff, man. Hey, I always appreciate you coming on and talking, dude. We always have good talks, and you know your shit, and you know your sport.
Thank you.
Now Jeff did have something wrong. I do not talk 76ers because I am not a 76er fan. Even though I am an Eagle fan, let's not mistake in that. I am a Chicago Bulls fan.
I'm sorry, a Bulls fan. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I apologize.
Well, I'm
Like,
right.
what the
I
hell am
think
I
I'm
thinking? That's
yeah,
my
I know.
fault.
I
I
think
know
I'm the
you're a Bulls fan.
Eagle fan who's a Bulls fan, man.
Yeah, well, I should know that. I mean, Pat's a big Bulls fan too, so I should have known
Yeah.
that you are. That was my bad. I completely slipped my friggin' mind. But yeah, I just.
No, that's cool, man. Hey, Bill, by the way, dude, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And if you like the content, appreciate you for stopping through and chatting it up, man. Hope to see you again. Thank you, Further AM. Appreciate you, dude. Fancy says, good night, guys. I always try to pop in here, AK, and show some love whenever I can. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you so
Keep
much.
supporting him
Even
all
though
the time. He's a
you hate
great
it,
content creator.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. So, all right, guys, we are out for the night. Jeff, I appreciate you. Jerry Lee, appreciate you, sir, so much for coming on and talking it up too. But yeah, I might be on a little bit tomorrow or Sunday, but I will let you guys know. But until then, you all have a great weekend. Fly Eagles fly, and see you guys later.
G-Man!